Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is with you all. I hope you're well. Kim is well. Look at Kim. Kim is thriving. Thumbs up from Kim this morning. 1, 2, 3. Look at her. She's loving it. Hey, morning, Kim. Hope you're well, Kim. Here she is, Lazy Bones herself. Sarah P. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. Please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel and notification bell. Press it on the way in, please. Yes, thank you for that reminder, Sarah. And also, obviously, join the alternate community. I'm going to start that. I'll say it later on as well, because there's not many people here yet. And that one there. We got Hello Kim from Sarah P. I'm sure Sarah P's back. And Tracy Saunders. Hello, Tracy, all the way from Nevada, Henderson, in Vegas there. Hope you're well, Tracy. Welcome. I haven't seen you for a couple of days. Wait, today we got Judge Boyd. We've got Judge Boyd. Let me set Judge Boyd up. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody say whale, whale. Say boom, boom, boom. Everybody say whale, whale. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. There she is, Judge Boyd. And here she is, Lazy Bones. Sarah P. Oh, yeah, it's Sarah P in the house. You see, when Sarah P's in the house, I'm more organised because she's got all my script here. She's bang, 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 Niners gang, bang, bang, Niners gang. You see, she's got to be highly organised. So without it, I'm not organised, and I just don't know what the hell I'm doing half the time. So you see, very organised. I'll wait a little bit to see if any more come, and if I need to play these starry things. A lot of people can take a break from trials or look at other trials today as well, because I don't blame them. Bosa, there he is, the Dill for the gang, the Bosa gang. I should have worn my Joey Bosa one, should I? Today. Lovely jubbly. So I started later today. Some people are asking, why do you start later? Well, one of the reasons is because of this little girl, this madam called Sarah P. That's one of the main reasons. So that I like the scripts. Because without her, I am a little bit lost. So I sort of remember this script, but I don't remember the rest. So when I get a chance, I like to start a little bit later. So it's like nearly 9 o'clock central, you know, gives people a bit more chance. Tracy, wash hands. What's a wash hands mean? I don't get what wash hands mean. Oh, you're washing your hands. I got you. I got you. Right, what we got here then? Let me just refresh this. I've only got, yes, we're doing, what's the name of this? Vernon Dixon, the guy's name is today, the defendant. I don't really know much about Vernie. Don't know much about him. But that's the surprise of it all. We'll learn together, won't we? I'm going to start in a couple of minutes, probably 5 to 10 minutes. We'll start. I got Judge Boyd here. So I'll start it now because I know there's been an inquiry of one of the jurors, I should say. So I didn't know where to start this. So if I do this now, get her on. I hear my niece going, chocolate is spicy. Jesus. Right there. I'll hear what she's going to say. She's bringing juror in.
Okay.
No.
All right, thank you.
Oh, I didn't take it.
All right, where is Mr. LaHood?
You went to go get water, Judge?
Okay.
Okay. This is Texas.
Yeah, Raven should just she. Everybody needs to be at
V. Dixon.
Judge, we're gonna admonish one witness that we had against you.
All right, have them come forward. All right, can you mute us, please?
Just go hand it over to him.
Right. I skipped the mute bit.
And then, defense,
Yes,
if it turns out that one of the jurors is related to Mr. Dixon, we're not going to ask that person any questions. What we'll do is, outside the presence of the entire panel, we can call them up individually and ask them a question, okay?
Your Honor, the defense isn't opposed before we do everything. I'm okay taking that juror in right now if y'all, if we want a question to get it out of the way. I don't think it's improper. I think everyone agrees to it, and that might answer the question.
Hi, Emma.
And honestly, if it's something that we can strike immediately, then why?
All right, well,
She's muted herself. I'll skip to it then.
court is calling 2022 CR 9807, State of Texas versus Vernon Dixon. Can I have
Vernon.
parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Gary, Your Honor. Adam, for the defendant, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Dixon?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Defense, have you received all the discovery in this case?
I believe so. We received a few new jail calls last night, but nothing substantive that will defend the case, Judge.
All right. And have you reviewed the discovery with your client?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Are both parties ready for trial, state?
Yes, you're ready.
Defense.
Defense is ready.
All right. It's been brought to the court's attention that maybe juror number 11 is related to the defendant. Is that correct? All right. Any objections to bringing juror number 11 in for questioning outside the entirety of the panel?
No, no objections on defense, Your Honor.
All right. Deputy Laura, could you bring in juror number 11, please?
Ooh, nice start. So, hi Emma. So, Sarpi says, hello Emma. So, nice start. This is a trial that's happened or is happening currently. So don't look it up because you might get the result of it.
Hello.
Oh, here we go.
Hi, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine. I cannot complain. So my understanding, or there's some, not really concern, but an inquiry. Do you by chance know the accused in this case, Mr. Dixon? All right. Are you related to him? Related to which witness? All right. All right. Any questions from either side?
Sir, being related to a potential witness, I think that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial to both sides or to either side. You think it would affect your ability to be fair and impartial?
Sorry, nobody can hear you.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Is he excused, Your Honor?
Just one moment. All right, that will be granted. Yes, he's excused.
Here you go, sir.
You're welcome. All right, then let's bring the jurors in.
Okay, here we go. So I
I've
think she's
received the election and its jury. Okay.
okay.
Why are you asking us this question? Based upon experience. Sometimes when we take
So this is now they're choosing the jury. This bit, they're choosing the jury.
a break, a juror will wake up or look up and everybody's gone and they forget where they're supposed to be. And we actually had a juror one time who was trying to get on another jury panel and they'll tell us, I looked up and everybody was gone. So if that ever happens to you and you get left, if you remember the 187 District Court, there's only one 187 District Court, not only in Bexar County, but in all of Texas. There's only one Judge Boyd in Bexar County. So if you mention any of those things, people will be able to direct you where you need to be. So in your possession, you have something that is very expensive. They are numbers. Could everyone please hold up your number? All right. So whenever there's somebody who asks a question of you, and if there's something that applies to you, or there's something you want to say, before you say anything, just hold up your number, and then the attorneys or myself will recognize you, and then you can speak. To my left, and you can lower your numbers. To my left is the court reporter. Can you raise your hand? All right. I believe that everybody's job, if you can make it easy for them, then make it easy for them. I always said when I would work for other people, if only they would do things this way, my job would be so much easier. So as a judge now, I try to make people's jobs as easy as possible, if I can. So in order to make her job easy, I need everyone to speak clearly. So it's okay. If you feel like you're yelling, that's fine. She's going to appreciate that, because she has to take down everything that everyone is saying.
Hi, Tracy.
And when you really think about it, not only does she have to take down what everybody's saying, she has to put in who said it. So if I'm speaking, she has to write in judge and then put down what I said. If the attorneys are speaking, she has to put their names down and say, this is what they said. And when you think about it, everybody speaks at a different pace. Some people whisper, some people are speaking very fast. So if everybody will speak one at a time, speak loudly so she can hear. And if you speak at the pace that I'm speaking at, or maybe a little slower, it will make her job so much easier. The other way we can make her job easier is this way. Can everybody in this box raise your card for me? And don't lower your card until I tell you to. Everybody on this front row here, raise your card. Nope, just the front row, number 25. No, not you. You can lower your card, 25. So everybody who has your card raised, if you're answering a question, you don't need to stand. She will be able to hear. Anybody who does not presently have their card raised, if there's something you want to say, and if you can, to make her job easier, we'll need you to stand when you're speaking. Can everybody do that? All right, you can lower your cards. Now, I will tell you, when I say that to a jury, guess what? Everybody says we're going to do that. And then guess what ends up happening? They don't do that. So I'm dependent on every juror here. If you see somebody who should be standing and they're not, just give them a little nudge and say, please stand. All right. So this case is the state of Texas versus Mr. Dixon. So I'm going to have the parties introduce themselves to you. For the state,
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Jason Garaham.
and for the defense,
My name's Adam LaHood. I'm a defense attorney.
George Schaefer. Anyone know me?
all right, and Mr. Dixon. All right, you may be seated. Now, those parties who have just introduced themselves, does anyone know any of those parties? If you do, just raise your card and let us know. You need to raise your card.
Sorry.
All right, number 64. All right, 64, who do you know?
One of the attorneys.
All right, and that would be Mr. LaHood. See, everyone, we're already off to a bad start with the standing. All right, we're going to pretend like that did not happen. So we're starting over. Everyone, please remember to stand. All right, so you say you know Mr. LaHood? All right, thank you.
Yes.
Number 58, you may be seated.
Jason Garaham.
Okay. All right, and 64, how do you know Mr. LaHood?
I don't actually know him personally. I know him visually. He used to live in my apartment complex.
Okay.
We spoke occasionally. And I think it was before, I think he was going to law school at the time. He wasn't even an attorney yet. So we're talking probably 10 years ago.
All right, was he a good neighbor?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's what he wants to know. So I'm going to ask you. Thank you. All right, number 58, who do you said Mr. Garaham?
Yes,
All right, how do you know him?
we're members of the local San Antonio A&M club, visited several times.
All right, and you say A&M Club, is that Texas A&M?
Texas A&M.
All right, as an LSU talk, I'm not going to hold that against you. Okay. All right, thank you. All right. So the charge in this case is murder, right? And I know when
I
people
mean-
show up for jury duty, sometimes you're like, please, can I get a car accident? Can I get something else? But in order for us to have jury trials, guess the number one thing that we need? Jurors, right? So what I want to I'm going to talk about that charge in a little bit, but the
High
attorneys
hands.
are each going to have a chance to ask questions of you. Before they ask those questions, I'm going to make sure that you all have your lunch break. So we're going to come back with their questions for you after lunch break. But when they talk to you, they are not allowed to talk to you about what they think the facts are in this case. So everything that they talk to you about and every question that they ask you are going to be hypotheticals. The only way you'll know about what they think the facts are this case is if you're actually on the jury. Does everyone understand? So when they're speaking to you about something, don't go in your mind and say, so this is what this case is about. They're not allowed to go into that. Does everyone understand? Now, this case was brought to this court through what's called an indictment. Has anybody heard of the word indictment before?
Yes.
So an indictment is really just a means by where someone is brought to court. It's not evidence of anything, and it cannot be used by you as evidence of guilt or anything. Does everyone understand? So, for example, here's a chance for you to raise your cards. How many people here have ever had a traffic ticket? All right, so this is one of the worst driving jurors that we've ever had up here before. But I've had a traffic ticket before. And when I got a traffic ticket, it was back in the day where the officers had the paper tickets. So I know you're saying, but you're only 21. How could that be? So, okay, there should not have been much laughter for that. But when you get a traffic ticket, let's say they say that you ran a stop sign, right? When they give you that traffic ticket and you accept that traffic ticket, you're not saying, oh yeah, I ran a stop sign. That ticket is just telling you what you're charged with, what they're accusing you of, where you need to be to answer for those charges if you would like a jury trial. So it's not an evidence of guilt at all. And it's not to be taken as anything other than this is a traffic ticket. This is what I'm accusing you of. And this is where you need to be. Does everyone understand? Yes. So an indictment is much the same way. It's this is the indictment. This is where you need to be if you want a trial. Does everyone understand? Yes. And it cannot be used by you as evidence of anything. Does everyone understand? Yes. Is there anyone here who cannot follow that instruction? All right. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you is certain rights that people who are accused of offenses have. One of them is the right to remain silent. Has everyone heard of that before? Yes. A lot of people have heard of that. That's great. So a right to remain silent, that means that a person really doesn't have to testify if they don't want to. I've been a defense attorney. I've been a prosecutor. Sometimes when I would have a client, I would say, hey, you don't need to testify. The state didn't prove their case. Or sometimes you will have somebody who they stutter, they're afraid of speaking in public, they're nervous because, hey, I got to get up here and speak in public. So there are many reasons why a person may decide not to testify. Does everyone understand? Yes. And you cannot hold it against them if they decide not to testify, because if you can just imagine, if a person were going to testify, they have to sit here and everybody's staring at them. So that's a pretty hard thing to do. So is there anyone here who will hold it against Mr. Dixon if he chooses not to testify?
No.
Okay. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is presumption of innocence. I'm sure you all have heard of that. Is that correct? So everyone who's charged with a criminal offense is presumed to be innocent. So if we were to take a poll right now, and I were to ask you if Mr. Dixon were guilty or not guilty, what should your answer be? Because you haven't heard anything, right? So a presumption of innocence means that the state has to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, and they have to prove every element of the case. So they have to prove, for example, the day that something happened, that it happened in Bexar County. And if it were a robbery or if it were a burglary, they would have to prove every single element beyond a reasonable doubt. Does everyone understand? So what that means, since they have the burden, that means that the defense does not have to prove everything. Anything. When we're in law school, we were always taught, if you're a defense attorney, you could sit over there, you could play Scrabble, you can do crossword puzzles, you can play video games. Of course, again, when I was growing up, we didn't have video games by cell phones. We didn't even have cell phones.
Hi,
But
John.
they could do that. And the reason why our professors would tell us that is because they wanted us to 100% understand that as a defendant and as somebody accused of a criminal offense, you don't have to prove anything. So if ever you're on a criminal jury and you find yourself mentally saying, well, I wonder why the defense didn't bring this, or I wondered why the defense didn't do that, that means you have shifted the burden, and that burden must not be shifted. That burden always stays with the state unless and until they prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. Does everyone understand? So do I think they're going to be playing crossword puzzles and video games in here today? No, but they could, because the state has the burden. Does everyone understand? Is there anyone who doesn't understand that concept or cannot follow that rule? Number 15. All right, anyone else? All right, the next thing I want to talk to you about is the phases of a trial. I'm sorry, not the phases of the trial. I want to talk to you about burden of proof. I keep telling you all that the burden of proof is proof beyond.
Now, because Kim is here, I have to always remind people, because she never does it, I always have to remind her, please make sure you like the video if you haven't done so yet. So I know that Kim probably hasn't yet, so that's why I remind people. Hiya, Jan.
On a reasonable doubt. When I was in law school, you had to know the definition of that term forwards and backwards. And if you did not know it, your professor would let you know. How can you not know this? You want to practice criminal law? I knew it forwards and backwards. I knew where to put the comma. I knew where to put the exclamation point. I knew where to pause for dramatic effect. My first jury trial, I used that. After my first jury trial, guess what happens? There is no longer a definition for proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So neither the state nor the defense can give you a definition of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, because it does not exist, the definition for proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Does everyone understand? So when I was a defense attorney, when I was a prosecutor, the best way I would try to explain that would by telling people what it is not. So the historic courthouse next door that has the green rooftop, they try civil cases over there. When you go to municipal court, those are a form of civil cases. The burden of proof over there is preponderance of the evidence, more likely than not. If you're ever on a criminal jury and you find yourself deliberating and saying, well, I think this happened more likely than not, you know that you are not at the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, because proof beyond a reasonable doubt is higher than preponderance of the evidence. So it's higher than more likely than not something happened. Does everyone understand? The other burden of proof in the historic courthouse is what's called clear and convincing evidence. And that's the burden that is used to terminate people's parental rights, to say, you're a danger to this child. We're no longer going to allow you to legally be a parent to this child. That's another burden. That's the highest burden they have on the civil side. But guess what? The burden on the criminal side is even higher than that. So proof beyond a reasonable doubt is the highest burden that we have. Does everyone understand? Now, there are two phases to a criminal trial. The first phase, people always think it's the innocence phase. I'm finding someone innocent, but that's not legally how it is. The first phase of any criminal trial is whether somebody is guilty, not whether they're innocent or not innocent. So first phase, did the state prove their case or did they not prove their case? If in phase one, you find someone not guilty, then guess what? We don't go to phase two, because phase two is the punishment trial. You can only go to phase two if you were to find someone guilty. Does everyone understand? Now, in Texas, when someone is going to trial on a criminal case, they have to make a decision or an election that if they were found guilty, who would they go to for punishment? That's the law. When someone makes an election to say who they would go to for punishment, that's not them saying they're guilty. That's just them. They have to make a decision before trial starts. Who would they go to for punishment if they were found guilty? Does everyone understand? In this case, Mr. Dixon has stated that if he were to be found guilty, he would go to the jury for punishment. Is there anyone who's going to hold it against Mr. Dixon for choosing an election of punishment if he were found guilty? All right. So I'm going to talk to you about ranges of punishment. This is a murder case. The range of punishment is a long range. Range of punishment is anywhere from 5 years to 99 years or life in prison. Does everyone understand? And there's also a fine range up to $10,000. So if you think about it, in Texas, all of the offenses that exist, there are always these wide ranges. So when you think about a murder case, that means that if you were to find somebody guilty of murder, you could send them.
Anthony's in the house. Really, boyo. How's it going, boy? Yeah, boy. Anthony, boyo. I haven't seen you for a while now, boy. Hope you're well, son. Hello, Frankie. Good morning, Frankie. Hope you're well, Frankie, as well. We're watching Judge Boyd. I was surprised. This is a murder trial. I didn't know it was a murder. But, whoo, this is going to be a doozy.
Them to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 99 years or life. So there's a wide range. And both parties are going to want to know whether or not you can consider the entire range of punishment. And that's consider, not give it. So when I say consider the full range of punishment, that means that internally you recognize the range of punishment for murder in Texas is 5 to 99 years or life. And then because you don't know anything about this case, right? And I've already told you both sides will only be able to talk to you in hypotheticals. When I ask people if they can consider the full range of punishment, they're always like, well, I really want to know more about it. So the way we handle that is we give you hypotheticals. For example, 5 years. That's the lowest end that you can give somebody for murder. And sometimes people will do a knee-jerk reaction and say, well, I will never give somebody 5 years. But when you think about scenarios, for example, this is the one they would always give us in law school. Husband and wife, childhood sweethearts, been married forever, just celebrated their 50-year anniversary. They go to the doctor. The doctor tells the wife and the husband, he has terminal illness. He's not going to survive. They go to another doctor. The doctor says, terminal illness. He's not going to survive. It's going to be very painful. He's going to get to the point where he can't breathe. He can't move around on his own. He's going to be a vegetable. He's just going to be laying in bed. There's nothing that he can do. Does everybody have the hypothetical? And as they go back home with this information, the husband tells the wife, look, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be a burden to you. When it gets to that point, I'm going to let you know. Just give me some pills, put them in my water, and just end it all. Help me end it all. Does everybody understand that hypothetical?
Yes.
So it gets to the point, nurses and doctors come over and they say, yeah, this is it. We're going to have to put him on oxygen. We're going to have to intubate. We're going to have to do this. And the husband looks at the wife, barely writes down and said, remember our agreement. And so nurses, everybody leaves. She takes the pills, gives them to them. That's a murder, right? Because we don't have assisted suicide in Texas. So that may be an instance where it's murder. You say it's murder, but maybe in that instance, you would only give somebody 5 years. Does everybody understand?
Yes.
Now, then you may have the other person on the other end. Let's talk about the life or 99. Somebody who kicked the dog in school. All the teachers like this child is going to be a troublemaker. And they constantly are picking up offenses, right? And everybody says, this person doesn't follow the rules. They're horrible. They just committed a robbery, 10 years ago. They just did this 10 years ago. And you have Mother Teresa or somebody who's walking across the street. She just came back from feeding the homeless. She has her bag. She's walking the street and somebody comes up to her, grabs her purse, pushes her down and shoots her maybe. That may be a case where you're like, yeah, that person deserves life if they're found guilty. So does everybody see the full range of punishment?
Yes.
All right. So is there anyone here who cannot consider the full range of punishment if you were to find someone guilty of murder? All right. Number 7. 53, 55. Okay. All right. This is a question that always stumps everybody, and I know no other way to ask it than this. I think languages are beautiful. When I was in school, I decided to take French because I'm from Louisiana, and I thought that I would be retired at 21 and be living in France, but I'm not. I'm here. Here I am, 21 years old and still here and not in France. So is there anyone here whose English is not your first language? All right. As I call out your number, you can lower your card. Number 7, 8, 12, 25, 36, 39, and your card is turned around. Yeah, that's okay. Number 49, 50, and 65. All right, number 7, what's your native language, your first language? All right, have you been able to understand everything?
So far.
All right, number 8, what's your language? Have you been able to understand everything? All right, you're gonna have to keep your voice up.
Yes.
Okay, number 12.
Yes. Spanish.
All right, have you been able to understand everything?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Number 25. Somebody nudge her. All right, yes, what's your first language? Have you been able to understand everything? How do you say hurry up in Spanish? Thank you. I can say that in every language, so I always ask. Number 36.
Russian.
Ah, okay, this is the first Russian I think we've had. So have you been able to understand everything?
That was.
All right, how do you say hurry up in Russian? All right, we're gonna work, I'm gonna work on that. Thank you. Number 39. Have you been able to understand everything? All right, when you say most of it, what do you mean?
Some things were comprehend.
All right, and if there's ever something that you don't understand, just let us know, okay? All right, thank you. Number 49.
Spanish.
All right, have you been able to understand everything?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Number 50.
Malayalam.
Okay, what again?
Called Malayalam. Indian.
Indian. Oh, okay, this is the first. How do you say hurry up?
Terrible.
All right, okay, I need to speak with you in the Russian. See, I'm just gonna call people by where they're from. All right, have you been able to understand everything?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much.
She's personable.
All right, now the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is, oh, I'm sorry, number 65. What's your language?
I'm Romanian.
Ah, we haven't had that either. How do you say hurry up? All right, I like the way that sounds. So, have you been able to understand everything?
So I don't understand all the times perfectly.
Okay, all right,
I just catch the idea.
all right, thank you so much. All right, now the next thing I'm going to ask you is about time constraints or travel arrangements.
Yes.
All right, is there anyone, and I always have to tell people this now, trial will start tomorrow at 9:30 so that everybody knows. So is there anyone here who has any type of time constraint or travel arrangements? For example, you have a flight somewhere and you can't put it in my name. Is there anyone here who has anything going on of that nature? If you are, speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, number 7, once I call your number, please lower it. 7, 9, 10, 14, 42, oops, 38, 42, 54, and 74. All right, number 7. What is your time constraint?
I'm traveling to College Station on Friday to visit my daughter. I stay there over there. Also, I bought tickets to the Texas A&M game.
Oh, I knew you were going to throw that out. All right, so how old is your daughter?
She's 19 right now. First, she's a freshman. She just started.
Okay, so what is her oh, he can remain seated. You're not gonna hear in the box, just not out there. So what's her major?
Kinesiology.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Number 9.
My husband has surgery tomorrow and I have surgery the following day.
Hip surgery?
So myself is back, ablation of nerves and then my husband has Achilles tendon repair tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Thank you for letting me know. Number 10.
Hi, Sam. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Welcome, Sam. Nice to see you, Sam.
I work nights, so this is my bedtime.
Okay. So you're doing the graveyard shift?
Right, work.
So what do you do?
I'm a nurse.
Okay. Number 14.
Single parent, so I was able to make arrangements with my boys today because I was school for election day.
Mhm.
But I've got to take them and pick them up from school every day. One of them stands, the other one's 16.
All right. So what's drop off time in the morning?
9 o'clock in the morning for the old, 7:45 for the younger one.
And pick up?
Pick up time 3 o'clock in the afternoon for the younger one, or 10 for the older one.
Wait, I'm sorry, 3. And then what?
Or 10.
4:10. All right. Thank you. Number 38.
Yes, one question clear, so that's why
All good, hands. It's all good.
Okay. And where are you going to play poker?
I'm not sure.
Oh, 10 days in Miami. You just wanted us to know you play poker. So are you good? All right. So you got to speak with confidence. Isn't that a part of like the faking in poker? Okay. All right. Thank you. 42. Yes.
This coming week, I have plans to just go in hill country for a couple of days, but on the 18th.
And Dilly Boy, yeah, we watch her all the time. We watch her a lot. Whenever we don't watch big trials, we watch Judge Boyd. We've watched probably actually quite a bit, few dockets and stuff with her. She's our go-to trial person that we always watch. She's great. She has different flowers and yeah, hundreds of handbags she does. But yeah, we love her bags. I mean, that's why we watch her. Most of the women love her.
That's Saturday. I can't remember the city, the 19th. I'm traveling to Maryland to visit my mother.
Okay, awesome. Moms are always interested to see, you know what? Now here's the problem, what's going on. Like I called out of all those numbers and I told people to speak now forever hold their peace. Now people are like, oh my gosh, nothing happened to me. Let me raise my card. So thank you very much. So we have somebody else raise their card that didn't before. Number 36.
I wasn't sure if it's too far out, but I also have travel plans on November 19th,
Oh, where are you headed?
Miami as well.
Are you traveling with the poker player?
I'm traveling with my daughter.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Number 40.
And I have things that they planned.
Okay, I'm sorry. You trailed off towards then.
The Texas A&M game, and we're hosting a game for the Sunset.
All right. So who are they playing?
It's you.
Okay. All right. I was just checking. No, I trust you. Number 54. Yes.
And didn't get enough time to fill the day schedule, so they're short position. And I'm on schedule to work the next 3 days.
All right.
It's too late to get.
All right. Thank you. Number 74.
I'm traveling to Dallas this weekend to watch UT whoop up on TCU and to see my daughter. And then on Monday, I'm traveling to Alaska for work.
All right. I don't know why people are just throwing out their football stuff like people are gonna win. You know, sometimes that's jinxing people, but okay. Well, I'm not traveling to see the Saints play because they're not playing very well. All right. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Number 15.
I'm a single parent who I've got a 12-year-old and a 1-year-old.
All right. And where's the 1-year-old now?
She's currently with the sitter making accommodations.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our break at this time. And then when we come back, we're going to come back and both the state and the defense will have an opportunity to ask you questions. All right. So I'm going to give us a break. And I'm looking at this clock, but this clock is not even on the right time. So I'm going to bring you all back at 1:30. And the reason why it's 1:30, so you'll know, is I have other cases on the docket that are not related to this case. So I need to make sure that the court reporter has a break because.
All right. Let's go to the next one then. I love a fresh flower. Yeah, fresh flowers are lovely, aren't they? Dee 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 yeah yeah. Ba da ba 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 da ba 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 da ba ba ba. We are my fire, my only desire, and you. Ba-dum-bum. I want it that way. Tell me why be nothing but a heartbreak. Right. Let me find it. We can skip to that bit and I'll just do this. Ain't nothing but a heartbreak. Tell me why.
So in a tampering with evidence, the range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in the prison. All right. And potentially probation. It just depends on a lot of things, whether or not someone is eligible for probation or not eligible for probation. And that would be something that would be decided if you were placed on a jury. Does everyone understand? So the range of punishment for tampering with evidence, it may be anywhere from probation to 2 years or 10 years in the prison. And the question is whether you can consider the full range of punishment. Not if you were given it. So you just have to realize and recognize that those are the potential ranges and you be able to apply whatever facts you may be given if you get to a punishment case or get to a punishment of the phase of the trial, whether you'll be able to apply facts and make a decision on either probation or 2 to 10 years. Does everyone understand? Yes. And for all felonies, the range of punishment for fines, they're all up to $10,000. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
Also, one other count is felon in possession of a weapon. So when you have a case that's a felon in possession of a weapon, one, you have to determine whether or not somebody is a felon, right? And so the range of punishment for that offense is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison. Does everyone understand? Yes. And with those type of cases, the state still has to prove each and every element beyond a reasonable doubt. So if the charge were felon in possession of a weapon, right? First thing, the state would have to prove that somebody was actually a felon, and they would have to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
Now, in some cases, ranges of punishment can be anywhere from 25 years to life in prison. So in some instances, the range of punishment actually starts at 25 years. So that means that you could sentence somebody 25, 26, 27, all the way to 99 years of life. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
And is there anyone here who cannot consider the full range of punishment? All right. And that's 7 and 53. Thank you. And 29. All right. Next, I'm going to tell you all 2 stories, and both of these stories are.
I'll put you down for 5. You need to show me the statistics. I don't know.
Obviously, I think you're starting to get a hang of what this process is by. This is voir dire. We call it jury selection, but really, I like to call it jury deselection. When at the end of all this, we're not going to go through and say, I want juror number 1, I want juror number 7, I want juror number 34. What happens is, for various reasons, people get struck. And getting struck, you should not take that personally at all. There could be a lot of reasons, right? People have travel arrangements, medical appointments, kids to take care of. And whatever is basically left over, we take that, and that becomes our jury panel. And by doing this, really, it is the most fair way to go about it. Because again, we're not selecting people based on our personal preference. We're merely excusing people for various reasons that they can't be here. Before I forget, Mr. Fong, number 27, could you stand up, sir?
Yes.
I want to start so I don't forget. You said that you were called to testify in a case in California.
I'm on call as a witness.
Have you been subpoenaed?
No, not yet.
You have not been subpoenaed to testify.
I'm just on call when I called the district attorney's office, the clerk said you're on call for the judge.
Did they tell you when you might be testifying there?
Nope.
No? Okay. I just want to clarify. Thank you very much, sir.
No problem.
So, getting right into it. Voir dire, we don't have any wrong answers. All we have is honest answers. And that's actually what the term voir dire means. It means to say or to speak the truth. Ultimately, we're going to select 12 of you, or rather deselect, as we just explained, to render another thing that also means to say the truth, and that is a verdict. Okay? That's what's paramount, what's key in any criminal proceeding, any court proceeding. So we ask you a question, everything else, there's no stupid answers, wrong answers, or anything else, nothing to be ashamed of. And I'll tell you this, is this something that you really don't want to discuss in public in front of your 73 or 74 new best friends? Raise your card and we can bring you up and talk to you about this. That's not a problem. Start off with the question of what is the most important document that you've ever signed in your life? Let me ask you, we have any military veterans here? Thank you for your service. Number 34, do you have to sign enlistment papers? Sir?
I was not.
An officer, okay. But at some point you signed some kind of document, signed a contract to go into the military, pretty important document, right? How many here are homeowners, have a mortgage? A lot of us, okay. I'm going to tell you, by the end of this, we're going to ask 12 of you to sign a document that I would say is more important than anything that you've ever signed. And that is this, the verdict form. And fortunately, I don't know if you can read that or not. It's an approximation. It says, we, the jury, find the defendant, Vernon Dixon, not guilty. Jury find the defendant, Vernon Dixon, guilty. I'm going to tell you, I think this is the most important document that you will have ever signed by the end of this. What's at stake here? You have somebody's liberty in your hands. And I can't stress to you what a great responsibility that is. It's something that we trust for the American people, right? Our system, you have a right to a jury trial. On the criminal side, the vast majority of cases go to a trial for this reason. We choose not to have one person hear and weigh all the evidence. Otherwise, it might be considered a bit unfair if you have one person deciding. So I would present it to 12 people, 12 impartial people that are going to listen to the facts, listen to the testimony, and decide what they want to do. Does anyone think that that's a bad system, that we should just leave it up to one person to arbitrarily decide? No. All right. I'm going to skip over a lot of this. Mr. Garahan did a good job talking about murder. Lesser included on this case of felon possession of fire and tampering. Let me ask you, does anyone have any questions over what constitutes a murder? No one? All right. Same thing with range of punishment. There is a range of punishment here. And on a first degree felony, it's anywhere from 5 years to 99 years of life, up to a $10,000 fine. And I think what we're trying to say is this: not all offenses are the same, not all circumstances for offenses are the same. And that's why the legislature gave you, the jury, the power to select range of punishment. This was a capital murder case, juror number 1. I believe you asked about that, right? Capital murder is one of those weird ones that if you convict of it, there is no discussion. It's either, in most cases, it's going to be mandatory, life without the possibility of parole. Other option in some cases is the death penalty, but those are becoming more and more rare. But the reason we say that is this, is again, this goes to the power that a jury has. You can hear it, you can weigh in all factors only if you convict someone. And you also understand what Jason Garahan was talking about. You don't even consider punishment until you get to beyond a reasonable doubt that they proved every element and you convict someone. Somebody is found not guilty, that means that there is going to be no punishment phase of the trial. Does everyone understand that? All right.
Is this one of the attorneys talking? Yeah. So basically, they don't show this bit. They're just choosing the jury. This is jury selection. They just don't show the attorneys at all. That's why they zoom in on Judge Boyd. That's it. So you don't get to see them at all until the trial starts. Once the trial starts, you get to see the defendant, the attorneys, and everyone. Just this process, which I'm happy to skip this process, guys, if you want me to. It's no big deal. We don't get to see anything. But yeah, happy if you want me to skip it. It's, we don't really get to see anything. But
Just a question for you all. How strongly would you agree or disagree with the following statement? Just because the state of Texas has accused a person of murder, that does not mean that he or she is guilty. Let me ask you, is there anyone that would disagree with the statement? You think that by the very nature that somebody was arrested, charged, and brought here, that they must have done something, that they must have committed murder, otherwise they wouldn't be here?
I think I'm going to skip it, guys, because I think it's just too long. And we got the advantage of skipping, so I'll skip it. Right, so bear with me whilst I change. We'll go into the actual trial. That's what you're here for, not that bit. If we were seeing him a bit more, I would play it, but we don't. We've seen the best bit of Judge Boyd giving her part out. All right, you beautiful people. Here we go. Here comes the trial. Here comes the trial. Here comes the trial. Here the trial comes. So, if you see it, I'm not sure if you can see it. Oops. This is the defendant. This is Vernon Dixon. And then, not sure who that's the defense. This is the prosecution. So, witness box, and then Judge Boyders will come on now.
Oh.
Ain't nothing but a
All right, everyone, please be seated. I hope you all were able to find parking.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So again, you'll probably see people come into the courtroom. Sometimes it's students who just want to see a trial. Again, people who are coming through that door did not read the sign that says we're in jury trial, don't come through this door. The people who are going to be coming through this door are usually staff or other attorneys that need to sign certain documents. So you were given the oath downstairs, but I'm going to give you another oath, and it's specifically for this case. So if you all could raise your right hands for me, please. Do you and each of you solemnly swear affirm in the case of the state of Texas versus Mr. Dixon, you will a true verdict render according to the law and the evidence, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. If at any time you cannot hear something, just let us know. If you ever need a break, just raise your hand. If I don't see it, believe it or not, Dinah always knows when people behind her need a break. So just raise your hand if you need a break. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
All right. State.
True bill of indictment. In the name and by authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury of Bexar County, state of Texas, duly organized, impaneled and sworn as such at the September term AD 2022 of the 144th Judicial District Court of said county, in said court, at said term, do present in and to said court that in the county and state aforesaid, and interior to the presentment of this indictment. Count 1, paragraph A. On or about the 31st day of March 2022, Vernon Dixon did intentionally and knowingly cause the death of an individual, namely Avante Boyce, hereinafter referred to as complainant, by shooting the complainant with a deadly weapon, namely a firearm. Paragraph B. And on or about the 31st day of March 2022, Vernon Dixon, with intent to cause serious bodily injury to an individual, namely Avante Boyce, hereinafter referred to as complainant, did commit an act clearly dangerous to human life that caused the death of Avante Ishan Boyce by shooting the complainant with a deadly weapon, namely a firearm. Count 2. On or about the 31st day of March 2022, Vernon Dixon, hereinafter referred to as defendant, having been convicted of the felony offense of possession of cocaine under 28 grams on the 20th day of July, AD 1992, in cause number 1991 CR 0678 in the 187th District Court of Bexar County, Texas, did intentionally and knowingly possess a firearm after the 5th anniversary of the defendant's release from confinement or release from supervision under community supervision, parole, or mandatory supervision, following conviction of said felony at a location other than the premises at which the defendant lived, to wit, a public place. Count 3. On or about the 31st day of March 2022, Vernon Dixon, knowing that an offense had been committed, to wit, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, did intentionally or knowingly conceal a thing, to wit, a firearm, with intent to impair its validity, legibility, or availability as evidence in any subsequent investigation or official proceeding related to the offense against the peace and dignity of the state.
How do you plead to those counts? True? I'm sorry. Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? All right. State, do you have any opening statements?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Gauss.
Counsel.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you what the evidence will be brought forward to you in the next few days. I'm going to take you back to March 31st, 2022. That's the day that Avante Boyce was murdered by this man over here. What we will present to you today and in the next few days is sort of those puzzle pieces I spoke to you about.
How's the audio, guys?
About certain pieces that will be brought in. You're going to hear from several different eyewitnesses that were at the location. You're also going to hear from CSI investigators. You can also hear from police officers at the scene that arrived soon thereafter. Which you also will start to learn in the next few days exactly the dynamics that were played out. One, Avante Boyce knew the defendant, Vernon Dixon. He also goes by Keno. That's just his nickname. That's the defendant's nickname. They knew each other because, let me get to her name right, Ezavana Lewis. The defendant considers his stepdaughter. She was dating the victim. In fact, they considered each other husband and wife. They had a young little child together that was actually at the location that day. It's a location just east of downtown at apartments that are listed as called the East Meadows Apartments. It was in the parking lot by a pavilion. It's at a location where Jackie Dixon, which is the defendant's sister, lives there. Also another individual in unique Dixon Battle lives there, which is the daughter of the defendant. They were hanging out by a pavilion by the parking lot, by a 300 Chrysler, a red one, with also red and black rims, that the defendant drove and used as his vehicle. You will hear that day that I called her Evie, that is the victim's wife and stepdaughter to the defendant. I called the defendant to ask for a ride to municipal court for Avante Boyce, the victim in this case, to take care of some tickets. When they went there, the municipal court was closed. So they decided to go over to the apartment complex and hang out. They went to that apartment complex in that red 300 Chrysler and were hanging out, chilling by the pavilion. Little child was there, which is also named after his namesake, the victim, Avante Boyce. His name is Avante also. They were hanging out in the car. They were hanging out by the picnic tables and around that area. You'll see the defendant in a video, a security video from that location, from two different directions. There'll be other cameras also. But one thing that you will definitely notice in that sort of grainy video, it's not high def or anything, but what you will notice is an individual wearing a white warm-up suit. Very distinct, Adidas, with the black stripes down each sleeve. This gentleman over here is an individual in that warm-up suit. You'll see him walking around. We'll bring in several witnesses that state that's Vernon Dixon, that's Keno. You will hear from several of those witnesses that throughout the day, Mr. Dixon is having an argument with Cherie on the telephone. Cherie is the mother of Evie. When he's having that argument, in unique, his daughter tells her some things. There's an argument that ensues, and then it leads to a physical altercation between Eva and also in unique and Ramisha. Ramisha is the other biological daughter of the defendant that also lived at the location with Jackie Dixon, which I know it's getting complicated here. Jackie Dixon is the sister of the defendant. When that goes on, it's just between the women.
I'm a bit confused now, if I'm being honest. If Christmas is coming, Jonathan, add it to your list. Audio's fine. Hiya, Hannah. Hello, I'm trying to listen to this. I'm confused now. How are you, Hannah? Hello, Hannah. Does Warren Dixon? But this for the baby boy was his. Literally, Mexi, we're literally at the start. We don't know nothing. This is literally open statements. This is open statements from the state. So we don't know. I hope that they have chat. I know. Well, I mean, I hope so because I'm lost. I'm actually genuinely lost now. How he's related to everybody. I don't know anymore.
The women are arguing and fighting physically. The defendant tries to separate them, asks for help from Avante. Avante comes up, sort of separates them. You'll see him. He's wearing a camouflage jacket that day. When he is helping out, separating them, nothing's going on, except for they're separating the females from fighting each other. They are separated. Eva gets in the back seat with a stroller and also little Avante, her child that she has with Avante. They get in that back seat. You'll see the defendant and his white warm-up suit walk around that side of the car to the driver's side and get in the car. You'll see Avante walk up to the passenger side for the last time. He opens the door, gets into the passenger seat. Everything's calmed down. Everything's done. The physical fight is over. The arguing between the sisters is over. The defendant puts that car in drive. Goes about 3 feet. He says something of the sort, "Fuck this." Gets out of the car. You'll see this from a different angle. You'll see his arm go up. That's when witnesses will say that he shot twice into that car and hit Avante, once in the lower back and once in the buttocks. That one that goes through his upper hip, goes across his body, hits 2 major arteries. Avante bleeds out rather quickly. He does fall out of the vehicle. He does run off from the scene and ends up in a hallway in an apartment complex where he lays down by a door of one of those apartment complexes and ends up never regaining consciousness. You will hear all of that. You will see all of that. You will see witnesses come up on the stand that do not want to be here. And you will see family members, this man over here, coming up and testifying what they saw that man do and what he did with that gun. Because after he shot Avante, he walks over, hands off the gun to a family member, which we will bring that individual in to say that he took that gun and he threw it away at the direction of the defendant. Also, you will see in that video, he walks over with his mother, the defendant's mother. Elizabeth Pearl Barnes was also at the scene. She had just dropped off the kids from school to Jackie Dixon. You'll see that she takes the defendant in her car. They get in the vehicle. He walks around to the passenger side of the SUV. They reverse and they take off from that parking lot. She saw everything that happened. She was an eyewitness to it also. You'll also hear about what I consider and most people consider a butt dial, meaning that a person that had a phone accidentally called somebody else. That person that accidentally hit that button and called somebody else was no other than this defendant. And the person that he ends up calling happens to be Avante Boyce's mother. She doesn't pick up, and there's a voicemail of this individual screaming and yelling at his own mother and stating some statements on that voicemail. She will also come in and testify. So in the end, you're going to hear from several witnesses. You're going to see some video. And it's going to help you as a jury to put those puzzle pieces in the right spot for you to be able to get a clear picture of exactly what happened that day back on March 31st, 2022. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Defense.
Yes, Your Honor. Please, the court, counsel. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for being here. No, it was a long day yesterday. We sat through the Bordire process. That was the process where we got to talk with you. Now we have to speak X, for lack of a better word. So thank y'all for being here this morning. I liked how Mr. Garrett started off the statement. He said this is a case about puzzle pieces, and you have a lot of pieces here, and you have a lot missing. The state's going to ask you to basically jump to a conclusion, to draw a conclusion based on a very, very incomplete picture. At the end of this, I'm going to suggest to you that they will fail in their burden of proof. Remember, we talked about beyond a reasonable doubt to prove the offense of murder, felon possession of a firearm, and tampering with evidence. You're going to anticipate probably from a dozen or more witnesses today, or over the next course of a couple of days that we're all together. And ask yourself, question motives, reliability, and how accountable they are. But also ask yourself and think about this as you hear this case of what you're not going to see. I'm going to tell you, you're not going to see DNA. You're not going to see fingerprints. You're going to see an astounding lack of any kind of physical evidence in this case. And again, these are the pieces. State's telling me that we have all these pieces that they want to lay out for you. And they want you to abandon common sense, put it together, and jump to a conclusion that they see fit. Again, ladies and gentlemen, when you see everything, or rather the lack of evidence that you have, I believe that you'll be returning the only verdict that you could possibly return, and that is not guilty. I started off by saying thank you, and I'm going to end that way as well at the beginning and now. And again, we thank y'all for being here. Thank you for your attentiveness. We ask you to be patient and attentive throughout this whole process. Have a good day.
All right, state, call your first witness.
Now we would invoke the rule.
All right, the rule has been invoked. If there are any witnesses in the courtroom, you need to wait outside.
I've not looked up any documents or anything on this because literally I think either there has been a verdict or there will be a verdict. So this is an ongoing trial. So we're just a couple of days behind. So if you do find something, please don't say anything because obviously there might be a verdict already on this trial. But let's just see what that's just opening. Let's just see what there is. I mean, we just don't know what comes to it. Videos, not videos, I don't know. Let's have a look. Let's enjoy. Let's just enjoy it. Let's just enjoy this trial.
Thank you, good. Judge, I don't think there's anyone in here, but we'll keep an eye on it as we continue.
All right, thank you. And if someone comes in that you all recognize may be a witness, just let the court know.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state, call your first witness.
The state calls Officer Andrew Gomez.
Let's see if Sarkey's in the ball, or should I just be in the ball? He is tiny. Everything's bigger in Texas, they say. That's why Sarah P moved there. Everything's bigger. Oi, oi.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Just make sure you keep your voice up so that the jurors can hear and the court reporter can hear.
Okay.
If you could state your name for the record and spell your last name, please.
Andrew Isaac Gomez, Gomez.
All right, state.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Gomez, one, I see from your uniform, who do you work for?
San Antonio Police Department.
And how long have you worked for San Antonio Police Department?
About 2.5 years now.
And you went through some certain training, certification. Are you a Texas peace officer or certified peace officer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna jump to the point of why you're here today. March 31st, 2022. Do you remember that date?
Yes, sir.
And I know that, well, one, were you dispatched to a scene?
Yes, I was dispatched.
And were you dispatched to a scene of a shooting?
Yes.
And you remember where that was located at?
It was at the East Meadow Apartments.
And where is that located here in San Antonio, just roughly?
It's off on the east side of town.
Yeah, I should have said, sorry. That's my bad. I should have said there is a verdict, okay, or there will be a verdict. I have not seen what the verdict is, so that's why I was trying to say do not look this case up. So my bad. Otherwise, I would have looked it up and got some documents and stuff. It's just this is currently running. Well, has just finished. By sounds of it, I know you'd never say it, and it's more of a, I should have said something because now we spoiled it for you. So sorry about that. Sorry for everyone that knows the result already. That sucks. That sucks. Now, but yeah, nothing I can do about it now. Maybe I should just said, do not search this at all because you're gonna find it out.
And is it within Bear County, Texas?
Yes.
And did you write a report that day about the events that unfolded?
Yes, I wrote a supplement report.
Show you this piece of paper. Can you tell me, just review it and can you ID it for me?
Yes, this is the supplement report that I wrote for this.
And please just don't read directly from it, but if you need to refresh your memory at any time, you can review it and then answer the question without reading directly from it, okay?
Okay.
So tell the jury what happened when you arrived at the scene.
When I arrived, I observed a male on the ground who was injured and bleeding, and I provided first aid.
And what was the name of that male?
That male was Avante Boyce.
And was he able to, well, one, did you speak to him?
I attempted to.
And did he respond?
No, he did not.
Did he not respond?
But that's why I should have said at the start, don't look, because no one's heard of this case before. No one's heard of it. I should have said, don't look it up because the result is out there. That's my bad. That's my bad.
I guess because he didn't want to respond or that he could not respond.
I don't think he could respond.
Did he ever, was he conscious when you were talking or when you tried to speak to him?
No.
Was he making any noises?
Trying to breathe, if
Okay.
anything.
I'm sorry.
If anything, he was trying to breathe.
And I think you stated just previously that you attempted some first aid.
Yes, sir.
And what did you try to do?
Observe his wounds to see if I can treat them, hold pressure.
And where was that wound? Do you recall where the wound was at?
Recall it was on his left hip area or his left buttocks.
And do you remember how many wounds that you observed?
I observed 2.
And were there any other officers at the scene with you?
Yes.
And was there anybody else that you spoke to at the scene, as in non-officers, like witnesses or anything like that?
I did speak to witnesses, yes.
And is it your responsibility to, I guess,
Okay,
interview
just
these
one, I'm
individuals?
sorry, counsel, just 1 second. Could you make sure you speak up
Oh,
so
yes.
that everyone can hear, because the attorneys need to hear as well.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Sorry. I guess it's fair to say that you're an officer, you're not a detective. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And is it your responsibility to interview witnesses and write that into your report, or what's your responsibilities when you are at this scene?
Mostly to identify the witnesses and get a statement from them about what happened.
And would you pass that information off to somebody?
Yes,
And who would you pass that off to?
to the handling officer.
And do you recall the officer that was handling this case?
Yes,
And who was that?
Officer Valadez.
And I'm going to show you what's marked State Exhibit number 1. Do you know, one, what that is?
Yes,
And what is that?
that's my body cam footage.
And is it a fair and accurate depiction of what you, in a sense, did that day?
Yes,
Although it has been redacted as in it's muted, it doesn't have any sound. Is that correct?
yes,
Your Honor, the state would move to enter state exhibit number 1 with its redactions considered the defense.
Your Honor, just so we can clarify for the record, this is muted. There's no audio.
Right.
Your Honor, we have no objections as it is, assuming it is muted.
All right, state's exhibit number 1 is admitted without objection.
That's fine.
And Judge, just for the record, I spoke to defense. State exhibit number 1, we have copied it to our hard drive, the exact copy that we need, and we're gonna play it from that hard drive.
The defense is not an objection, Judge. It's an exact copy of the file. It's just a different media that we're playing it from.
All right.
Thank you.
Is it coming? You never know when it's going to start. Hello? Oh,
All right, ladies, just 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have you all step outside for a moment to the jurors. All
Whoa.
right, everyone, please rise. Step out.
do you see that?
Just 1 moment, please. All right, everyone, please be seated. Mr. Dixon. Mr. Dixon. All right, so there's not to be outbursts in the courtroom. You understand? I understand that this is an emotional time, probably for you, most definitely for all the family members who are involved. There is not to be an outburst in this courtroom. Do you understand? All right. Do you all wish to speak to your client?
Yeah.
Defense,
Just
you
a
want to
minute,
speak
Your
to
Honor.
your client?
Of course. All right, bud.
Yeah, so so you obviously know the result as well then. So I should have said, do not search this trial.
Anyone?
Do not
You're only
search
allowed
it.
to speak to
Damn
attorneys
it.
for the state or the defense.
I'll stay here.
Okay,
So
sure.
anyway, if you don't know anything about this trial, just don't search it. But yeah, he had a bit of an outburst there, emotional. I think they were probably showing the video of the incident, I imagine, and well, yeah, he's outside using a car, wasn't it, or something. So there's no volume or audio for it, but he probably just saw that and had that outburst. But I never seen a police officer run that fast, or wherever he is, court officer, wherever he was. He ran. He's a big boy. But I've not seen that kind of reaction. Actually, I don't think I've seen that kind of reaction before. I mean, I bet you women are enjoying this now. Ladies enjoying this view of this guy. You see what they're saying. What a cute little youngster he is. He old enough to be a cop? You see, I knew that you would all be all swooping all over him. This is interesting. 3. So this is gonna be. I'm gonna be playing this over the next few days. I'm not playing it all today and done. It'll be over the next few days. No, maybe not, but you still, I know. You can appreciate beauty. John, I'm not. I don't know what chat's on about. Whenever I see someone type Jonathan, and I'm like, oh no, what's he on about now? PTO, A. Gomez. So yeah, this is going to be played today, tomorrow. We've also got Tim Ferritter verdict tomorrow, sentencing tomorrow. So we'll squeeze everything in as we can. I don't know, why am I doing this? I could just bloody skip it, can't I? Here we
All right,
go.
ladies and gentlemen, the jury, you are to disregard the outburst that was made by Mr. Dixon. He's not under oath. You are not to consider any statements that he made. Those statements made by him are to be disregarded in their entirety. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
All right. So the testimony is testimony that comes from the witness stand when persons are sworn in. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
All right, State, you may proceed.
Thank you, Honor. Officer, let me just retrace, just make sure that I'm reiterate, or not reiterate, just make sure, make clear. Was, there's some dates listed on this body cam, is that correct?
Yes,
And what is that date?
March 31st, 2022.
And I know there's a time on there. What, you know what time that's called on there?
1600s, 4 p.m.
Okay, around, it says 1602, is that right?
That's correct.
And that's considered 402?
Yes,
Okay. And I see an individual on this body cam that's up on the screen in front of you. Looks like he's wearing a camouflage jacket, is that correct?
yes,
And is this the individual that you testified earlier to, Devontae Boyce?
yes,
And is this an individual that you saw laying there and you observed the gunshot wounds to his lower extremities?
yes,
And is this the individual that you administered some first aid to?
yes.
We'll go ahead and start playing the video again, or your body cam. In this location, it looks like there's a couple doors and it looks like it's in some type of, I guess, hallway or something. Can you describe to the jury what we're looking at here for the location?
This is an apartment complex, one of the buildings of an apartment complex, and this is the interior hallway to the apartment doors themselves.
So the way you found Avante Boyce, he never responded to you by speaking to you at all.
Objection asked and answered.
Oh, that'll be overruled.
You can answer.
Correct.
Now, officer, I've stopped the body worn cam and I failed to say earlier, but it stopped at 16:03 and 43 seconds. After this, what happened to Avante Boys? Where did he go?
He was transported by EMS
And what were your responsibilities at the scene then?
to canvass for witnesses and secure the scene.
And I think you testified earlier that you did speak with some witnesses at the scene. Is that right?
Yes.
And did you said you canvassed the scene. Where did you go during that time?
We went to neighboring buildings or apartment complexes.
Did you ever go to the, did you ever go to the office area of the apartment complex?
Yes.
And what were you doing there?
We were observing the security footage of the complex parking lot.
And this security footage, is it video form?
Yes.
And where were you observing that on?
I don't recall. I think it might have been on a phone.
Okay. And who was letting you observe that?
The office manager.
Did you speak with anybody else there?
Yes.
And not again, but I'll tell you this, I can't ask you, or I'm not listening what they said to you, but just that you spoke to different individuals, okay? But you spoke to those individuals, you looked at the security video. Then what was your responsibilities?
Again, secure the crime scene and wait until detectives arrived.
And we'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Defense.
Good morning, Officer Gomez. How are you doing
No, yeah, no one can see the video. They don't show it. They won't show it.
today?
Good.
Thank you. My name's Adam LaHood. I'm a defense attorney. I have a few questions for you, okay?
Okay.
If I ever ask something that doesn't make sense or go too quick, just let me know and I can rephrase for you. Were you the first officer that responded to the scene on March 31st?
Yes.
And on this video, it appears that it's in a, well, we're talking about this. Is this like the stairwell or entry well to an apartment, or what is it exactly?
Yes, it's a hallway into an apartment building.
Okay. So closed door, then inside there's doors that lead to other apartments, like a hallway, I guess.
Correct.
Okay. You said that was the East Meadow apartment complex?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay. The person that was on the ground that we see in the video, he never talked to you?
Correct.
Never made any kind of oral statements or anything to you, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you witness the shooting that day?
I did not.
And you said that after that you were there mostly.
No, he didn't say it. He just got emotional. He just got emotional, Nunia. That's all it was. After seeing the video, basically.
To identify potential witnesses. I think you said canvass the area. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you write another report or just a supplement that you have in front of you?
Just this supplement.
Okay. No other report was written?
Correct.
All right. I believe you said that you handed it off to Officer Valdez. Is that a detective or a police officer?
He's a police officer, patrolman.
And why did you hand off the scene to Officer Valdez?
He would be the handling officer.
Just 1 second. Thank you, officer. That's all I have. We'll pass witness.
No further questions, John.
All right, the rule has been invoked. What that means is you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for the state or the defense. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is this witness going to be excused or subject for recall?
The defense has no need for him to be on recall, Judge.
State you.
All right, thank you. You're excused. And if you'll leave that report with the court reporter. All right, state, call your next witness.
The state calls Officer Christian Valdez.
All right, if you'll take a seat here, please. All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. If you will keep your voice up so that the members of the jury can hear and the attorneys and court reporter can hear. If you'll state your name for the record and spell your last name, please.
My name is Christian Valadez, last name Valadez.
All right, state.
Officer Valadez, who do you currently work for?
The San Antonio Police Department.
And how long have you worked for SAPD?
Almost 5 years.
And what unit are you currently assigned to?
East Patrol B shift.
And East Patrol, what area does that encompass?
The southeast portion of town. I have to look on a map to tell you the borders, but basically the southeast portion.
And were you working on March 31st of 2022?
Yes, sir.
And did you have to respond to a call on that day?
Yes, sir.
Where did you have to respond to?
I responded to a shooting in progress at the East Meadow Apartments.
And that's, what side of town is that on?
About southeast off Walter Street, about Walters and 35 area.
And that's in Bear County?
Yes, sir.
And were you the first officer to arrive at that scene?
No, I believe I was the third or fourth officer.
And were you the handling officer for that scene?
Yes, sir.
Why were you the handling officer?
The shooting was in my district, and because I was able to gather more, better understanding of what had actually happened. So I took report responsibility.
And what were the other officers doing while you were gathering this information?
Applying first aid to the victim, and I believe another one was looking for a crime scene.
So I'm gonna approach you with what's being marked as State's Exhibit number 2. What is this?
I believe that's a copy of my body worn camera from the day of the shooting,
And how do you know it's your body worn camera?
because I viewed the videotape.
Have you marked the disc in any way?
Yes, I signed it and then dated it.
Your Honor, state what Auburn State's Exhibit number 2.
Just for clarification, does this video have audio or is it muted?
It's muted.
If it's muted, Judge, we have no objections, and we also have no objections. It's going to be played from a laptop, assuming it's a true and accurate copy from what's on the disc.
All right, state's exhibit number 2 is admitted without objection.
Fast forward video to 16:01:12. So what are we seeing here, sir?
I'm making location, and I'm speaking with a gentleman who stated that he applied first aid to the shooting victim. He's informing me that
Objection,
he
Your Honor, hearsay.
Sustained.
Without going into detail, sir, what are you doing?
gathering information of what happened.
And do you ever approach the complainant in this case?
You mean the caller?
The victim, sir?
Yes, sir. I just briefly see what's going on, but I return to gathering information.
Do you speak to anyone else at that scene?
Yes, sir.
Who do you speak to?
Witnesses of what occurred.
Do you remember the name of the specific witness you spoke with?
One in particular, yes.
What was that name?
Miss Lewis?
Do you remember her first name, sir?
Not really.
And did you write a report in this case, sir?
Yes, sir.
And would reading that report would help refresh your recollection?
Of her name, yes.
I'm gonna approach with your report if you can. Take a look at the report. Please don't read off of it, but once the memory is refreshed, please answer the question.
Okay, yes.
What was her name?
Isalvon Lewis.
Excuse me. Could you spell that for the court reporter, please?
Yes, ma'am. It's Ezalavonne.
Thank you, sir. So right now you were at the point where you were just trying to gather information.
Yes.
And when you spoke with Miss Lewis, generally, what did she tell you?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Sustained.
Did she give you any details as to what happened?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes.
Did she give you a description of who may have done something at that scene?
Yes.
Did she give you a description of any vehicles that may have been involved?
Yes.
And were you able to walk around the area with Miss Lewis?
Yes.
Where did you walk around? Where did you go with Miss Lewis?
She took me around the corner to the parking lot initially where the alleged crime occurred.
And did you make sure to, I guess, leave Miss Lewis to be interviewed by a detective later?
Yes.
Where did you place Miss Lewis? Do you remember?
She was placed in the back of a patrol car until a detective arrived on scene.
But you weren't the person that interviewed her, right?
No.
So at that point, did you stay at the crime scene?
Yes, sir.
Where did you go after you spoke with Miss Lewis?
To my car to contact follow-up unit and to notify supervisors of what I had obtained.
Did you ever view any surveillance video in regards to this case?
Yes.
And where did you view this footage? Do you remember?
It was a neighboring, like a older folks living that their cameras point towards the parking lot.
So I want to show you, because the video's been playing in the background, it's 16:04:10. I want to show you, what are you currently doing with Miss Lewis?
I had gathered her information and then she gave me a description of what occurred. And then now she's, well, after this is where she leads me to where everything went down.
So right now you're walking around to go to where generally she's taking you.
Yes.
I'm fast forwarding right now to about 16:07:19. Is this where she took you?
Yes.
And what sort of area was this?
Parking lot near a dumpster and a pavilion.
Now, I paused the video at 16:08:19. I'm gonna approach with what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 3. What is this?
A copy of my body worn camera.
Is this the same video that we're viewing, or is it a different video?
I believe it's a different video.
And have you watched it on this disc before?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because I've signed and dated it.
And is this a fair and accurate copy of video that was recorded on your body cam from that date?
Yes, sir.
And aside from being muted, has it been altered in any way?
No, sir.
Your Honor, State would offer State's Exhibit number 3 into evidence.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, State's Exhibit number 3 is admitted without objection.
Permission to publish State's Exhibit number 3, Judge.
Granted.
So Officer Valdez, this video was taken not that long after the first video, correct?
Yes.
And what are you doing here?
We're in the management office of that older facility that I was telling you about, with one of the detectives. And this is where we're about to be shown the video of what happened.
Were you able to see the video?
Yes, sir.
And based off of what you had heard compared to the video, did it match up with what you were given previously?
Yes, sir.
And now, you weren't just involved with this case on this day, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So what else did you do in regards to this case?
The following day, I drove around my area in the complex, looking for the suspect, and I was able to locate his vehicle.
And did you report that you found the vehicle?
Yes, sir.
And did you stay with the vehicle while it was being processed?
Yes, sir.
And after that, was that the end of your involvement with this case?
Yes, sir.
What type of car did you locate? Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
What type was it?
It was a red Chrysler 300 with red rims.
And how is that relevant?
We were informed that that was the vehicle belonging to the suspect.
Pass the witness.
Defense.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Officer Christian, or Valdez, I believe, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Adam LaHood, defense attorney. Just have a few questions for you, okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
Were you, if you remember, were you the second or third officer on the scene that day? Do you remember which order you were?
I believe if I had to bet, I think I was the fourth officer.
Okay, if you don't know exactly, it's fine,
Yeah.
but you weren't the first responding officer, is that
No,
correct?
sir. No.
You didn't witness any shooting, did you?
No, sir.
You were there to collect, I guess, witness identification, possibly witness statements, but you weren't a witness to any offense that may or may not have occurred. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You said the very next day you located a vehicle that you believe you tied to Mr. Dixon. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
After finding the vehicle, what happened after that?
We called a wrecker to come tow the vehicle. I had to follow it down to 9th Street to be relinquished custody to our CSI unit. They took custody of it and I left it with them.
All right. You said down to 9th Street, and I think you answered this, but that's where y'all's CSI division is located?
Yeah, that's where we take the calls that are marked for evidence. Yes.
And I imagine, I think everyone watches TV, but just for their clarification, can you tell us what CSI stands for?
I'm drawing a blank here, but they're our forensic unit that basically go and they process the scene, look for evidence, take fingerprints, stuff like that.
Crime scene investigation? Is that
There you go.
there?
Thank you.
That's all right. And you kind of answered my next question. They're the ones that would take and process for forensics, DNA, fingerprints,
Yes.
whatever it might be.
Mhm.
All right. Did you have any contact with the vehicle after you dropped it off at 9th Street to CSI?
No, sir.
Did you have any follow-up with this case after locating the vehicle?
No, sir.
And you may have said, I'm sorry, you probably did say, I just don't remember. Where, if you recall, did you locate a red Chrysler at?
About 2 blocks away from where the call for the shooting came out in a parking lot.
So about 2 parks away from East Meadows?
Yes, yes, sir. Still within the property though.
So, okay, and that's what I was trying to clarify. So it was on the East Meadows property, but just in a different parking lot?
Yes, sir.
Is this a fairly big apartment complex?
Yes, sir.
Just 1 second, sir. Officer, just a few more follow-ups. You had mentioned something that you had report responsibility.
Samantha Terry. Well, hello, Samantha Terry. I did see your message yesterday, and it's all good. There's no need to apologise that you weren't there Saturday. You were missed, but it's all good. It doesn't matter that you weren't there. But I do like the fact that you pop it in a lot more often now. I know you're a busy woman, but I also know you're a nosy. It's not 2 hours yet. I can't call you the B word yet, but you are a slight. I can't say it. Sarah will give me a row. But it's always lovely to see you. Those that don't know Samantha is a mod for recovery addict. She's lovely. I always say this. She literally is the same as all of you in chat. Weird. Um, well, yeah, absolute weirdo, but in a good way, as all of you are in a good way. You'd all love Sam. She is wonderful. She fits right in. She's got a similar sense of humour. Um, she wouldn't mind you getting naked, don't you? She'd probably encourage you. She swears like a sailor, and she gets the sexual window stuff, and she probably enjoyed Jonathan as well. She'd get his jokes. So yeah, um, yeah, she's definitely somebody that I enjoy seeing in chat when she pops in. So thank you, Sam, for popping in. Always lovely to see you. I wish that you were here more often, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm glad that you just popped in more regularly now. I haven't seen you for a while now. We see you all the time. Nah. I know. Sarah said he can't swear, so I can't call you that sly. Sly. I'm trying to behave. So, everybody, well, if you don't know Sam, welcome her. She's amazing. I love having you here, Sam.
Quality, I believe. Do you remember saying that?
She's English, but so Emma, if Emma's here, she's English but lives in Costa Rica. So that's a bit different from you, English living in Wales. Do you know what I mean? That's a bit different.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by that exactly?
So it goes a couple different ways, but since the call came out in my area, generally we'll take report responsibility if it's in your area. And I assumed report responsibility because the initial officers were busy applying aid. They didn't really get the best understanding, so I was able to get a better description of what might have occurred.
I see. So is it fair to say that if you take report responsibility, you're taking charge at that moment?
Yes.
And seeking people out or
Yes, sir.
talking or whatever?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Thank you, officer. Your Honor, we'll pass witness.
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Is this witness excused or subject for recall?
The defense has no problem excusing this witness.
All right, the rule has been invoked. What that means is you're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for the state of defense. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you'll leave your report with the court reporter. All right, state, call your next witness.
State call Ivana Lewis.
All right.
Ivana Lewis. Okay. Let's try and catch this one, shall I?
And Judge,
Hey, Sam, you should check me out.
To spell her name, it's EZALVONNE.
Oh, well, no.
And last name Lewis, LEWIS.
Thank you.
Just see, I am mod as well now, so I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Take care of yourself, Sam. Call in more often, stay more often. Right, let's get this ticket. EV, I think she said. He said, ever something. Everlasting love.
If y'all need to stretch in the box, you're more than welcome to do so.
Everlasting love. Everlasting love. Anyone in the box will need to stretch. Anyone in the box will need to stretch. Mic, check 1 2 3. Check 1 2 3. Mic 1 2 3. Mic. Check mic 1 2 3. Check mic 1 2 3. Can you hear me? Yes, you can. Hello. Somebody can. Ba. Right, spell it slowly now. EV.
Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so that the members of the jury, court reporter, and the attorneys can hear, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Thank you. One, can you say your first name and last name for the jury?
Yeah, beyond Lewis.
And do you sometimes go by Evie?
Yes.
Okay, is it okay if I call you Evie? Because I think we've met sometimes before. I have a hard time saying your name, and I do apologize. But one, let's talk about why you're here today. And I'd like to just get some background and let the jury know who you are. One, how did you know Avante Boyce?
He's the father of my kids,
And what did you consider him to you?
my husband,
And how many kids do y'all have together?
2
And little boys and little girls?
boys.
And who is your mom? What's her name?
Sherry Lewis.
And Cherie Lewis,
Well, I mean, they told us scenario of the crime. Well, we only know what they told us in openings. That he shot, well, her husband, basically. Right.
at least back in 2022 and throughout your life, was she dating an individual?
Yes.
And what's the name of that individual?
Vernon Dixon.
And what's a nickname that he goes by?
Keno.
Hi, Katie.
You know? And how long had your mom at least been in a relationship with Vernon Dixon?
Yeah, they said in the
Since I
vehicle.
was 8.
And how old are you now?
22.
So you've known him for quite a number of years.
Yes.
Yeah, you just got to answer out loud so the court reporter can get everything down, okay?
Yes.
And can you point him out and identify an article of clothing if he's in the courtroom right now?
He wearing a blue sweatshirt.
Okay. And please let the record reflect that she has identified the defendant in this case. Now, you've come in here today to testify about what happened on March 31st, 2022. Is that correct?
Objection, leading.
That'll be overruled.
Yes.
You can, well, you can answer it. Is that why you came in here today?
Yes.
And let me take you back to that day, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask you if you can tell the jury, were you at least in the morning hours, were you with Avante Boyce?
Yes.
And did you have both of your children with you?
Just one.
Just one? Where was the other child?
I was pregnant.
And did you know at the time that you were pregnant?
No.
Okay. So on March 31st, 2022, you were pregnant, but didn't realize it.
Yes, sir.
But you had your other child with you.
Yes, sir.
And who did you live with at that time?
Avante Boyce.
And where did y'all live at that time?
On Goliath.
And was it an apartment or a home?
Apartment.
Apartment. And what were y'all going to do that day?
He was going.
They said it in opening statements. The state outlined how he was shot outside in a car and stuff like that. But the thing about 20 witnesses, we don't know about that. But yeah, they outlined it at the start.
In court.
Which court?
The municipal court.
And is that here in San Antonio?
Yes, sir.
And why was he going there?
He had I believe he had tickets.
And I guess assumed that he had the tickets to go take care of there.
Yes, sir.
And at the time, did y'all have a vehicle to transport y'all there?
No.
So what did y'all plan on doing then?
I called Vernon that day and he picked us up.
I'm sorry. Go ahead and answer. I interrupted you.
He had picked us up that day and took us to the court, but it was closed that day.
Well, let me just sort of rewind just a little bit there. I failed to ask this earlier. I mean, what do you consider Vernon Dixon, AKA Keno, to you?
Father,
A father. And when he picked y'all up that day, what type of vehicle was he driving?
Chrysler 300.
A Chrysler 300? And I'll get that in a second, but, and is it anything distinctive about that Chrysler 300?
Excuse me?
Is there anything, I guess, unique about it? Like the rims, are they,
Objection leading.
Overrule.
the rims, do they have any distinct markings or anything?
They got, it's red. The rims got red in them.
I'm going to show you what's been marked state exhibit number 4. And I know that's not probably the location that where he picked you up at, but do you know what car is in that photo?
Yes,
And what photo? What car is that?
the Chrysler 300.
And whose car is that you know it to be?
Vernon's.
Vernon, the defendant in this case?
Yes,
And this is a fair and accurate representation of what it looked like the day he picked you up?
yes, sir.
Your Honor, we'll move to enter in state exhibit number 4. We'll tender to defense for any objections.
Your Honor, defense has no objections as to state's exhibit number 4.
All right, state's exhibit number 4 is admitted without objection.
Just
Perry's in the house. IQ level is gone up. Hi, Perry.
I'm going to show you what's been also marked. Well, actually, Judge, if you don't mind, I'm going to tender to defense. We just spoke
Yes.
off there.
yes, judges. Yeah.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I apologize about that. I'm going to show you state exhibit number 5, 6, and 7. And can you just review those and tell me if you can identify those photos?
Yes,
And are those photos of the vehicle that picked y'all up that day?
yes.
We'll move to enter into state exhibit number 5, 6, and 7.
Your Honor, the defense had a chance to review these photos. We do not have an objection.
All right, state's exhibit 5, 6, and 7 are admitted without objection.
Now, in particular, state exhibit number 6. What is that a picture of?
A stroller, the car,
Whose stroller is that?
mine.
Is that stroller for your child?
Yes, sir.
And is that, who put that stroller in that vehicle?
I think I did, or Avante.
You were,
not
I'm sorry,
sure.
you or Avante put that in? that vehicle?
I believe so.
You want to maybe publish this to the jury?
Yes.
State exhibit number 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, when the defendant in this case picked y'all up, did he pick you up from y'all's apartment?
Yes.
And where'd y'all go from there?
We went to the municipal court, but it was closed.
And what, after y'all realized it was closed, what did y'all do then?
We went to Vernon's sister's house,
And who is Vernon's sister?
Jackie
What's her last name? Do you know?
Dixon.
Jackie Dixon. And do you recall where that apartment is at?
In the Wood Courts.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I just
I'm
couldn't hear.
sorry, if you could state that again and speak up.
In the Woody Courts.
She says Wheatley Courts.
Thank you. Sorry.
I did say hello
Can you
though.
Make sure you keep your voice up, please.
I'll show you what's been marked state exhibit number 8 now.
Mhm.
Do you recognize that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And if you don't mind, I'm handing you a pen. Can you circle where Jackie Dixon's apartment is at?
In defense, if you would like to move so that you can see what she's circling, you may do so.
Yes, Your Honor, I'll approach now.
She's circled right here. And can you just write whose apartment that is, just the first name? And where did y'all go? when
Don't
y'all arrived there?
fucking
Where did y'all
start,
park
all
the
of you.
vehicle?
Don't start.
And
I love you
that looks
all.
like, where is that located at?
In the back,
In the back. And what do you mean by back?
like in the back of Jackie's.
Okay, so is there a front door and a back door to Jackie Dixon's apartment?
Yes, sir.
And does the front, where does the front door lead? Does it lead to a parking lot or does it lead to a street?
A street.
And do you know the name of that street?
Hayes.
Hayes Street? And then the back portion, what does it lead to?
Lamar.
Well, is there something in between Lamar and the back door?
Oh, yeah, the parking lot.
The parking lot. And is there something else that y'all parked the vehicle, that 300 Chrysler next to?
Excuse me?
Did y'all park it next to something? Did y'all park it into a parking spot or did y'all park it by something else?
Something else, buy something else.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand
Buy
that.
something else.
What is that?
Like right here.
Okay. What is that? What is that? Is that an awning? What is that right there that you're pointing to?
The patio.
The patio? Okay. Is there anybody else that you know that lives around this location?
Yes, I'm unique right
And what-
here.
She lives right there. And
I'm sorry. She didn't hear that, court reporter.
I'm unique.
And
you say I'm unique?
Yes.
and who is Dominique?
Vernon's daughter.
Vernon's daughter. So she also lives in the apartment complex.
Yes.
And since we have this in front of you, well, I'll come back to that. At this time, can you write just her name, Dominique? Just whatever, however, okay, I'm. And then can you just mark right here what that is? Is that the car or the 300?
The car.
Okay, thank you. Judge, at this time, state will move into, or move to evidence, state exhibit number 8, intended defense for any objections.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, state's exhibit number 8 is admitted without objection.
Thank you. Maybe publish to the jury, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, right now I'm showing what's marked state exhibit number 8 to the jury. And just to clarify, you circled this location right
A little bit
here
better, yeah.
as being Jackie's apartment, is that correct?
Yes.
And where would the front door be?
In the front. Hayes.
Okay, thank you. Hayes Street, is this Hayes Street right here?
Yes.
Okay, so the front door would be facing this way, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then I see that mark back here, it says, I know it's a little scribbly, but it says CAR, which is car, is that correct?
Yes.
And what is that? Can you tell the jury what that means on this map?
That's where the car was parked.
And is that 300 red Chrysler that they have exhibits 5 through 7?
Yes, sir.
And then you circled over here, this location over here. And who lives at that location?
I'm unique.
Okay. Now, when y'all arrive at this location, what are y'all doing?
Just chilling, smoking,
Smoking? What are y'all smoking?
weed,
I'm sorry?
weed.
Okay. And is that everybody there?
Yes.
And you, if you can you tell the jury how long y'all were chilling there or hanging out there?
I don't remember how long we was chilling there, but we was there for a while.
And were you personally, where were you hanging out at?
In the car,
And was anybody else with you?
my baby.
And were there other people around at that time?
Yes.
Were there people in and out, or were the people just there the whole time?
In and out.
And can you tell the jury individuals' names that you recall being there?
Yes.
Who is that?
I'm unique, Reminisha, me, Vernon, Avante, my son, Pearl, and I believe it was a kid, Juju,
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the last name?
the kid Juju. the
Juju?
baby.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, ma'am.
And can you tell the jury, one, I think you already mentioned who Amanique is. What about Reminisha? Who is she?
Vernon's daughter.
And are they a stepdaughter or are they blood related? Do you know?
His stepdaughter.
That's a stepdaughter also?
Yes.
And then Aminique, is she blood related or is she a stepdaughter also?
Blood.
Okay, and what about you? Are you blood related to the defendant? Stepdaughter? Okay. And was there anybody else that you recall being there?
Not that I can remember.
Now, on that particular day, do you have a phone, like a telephone?
A phone?
Yes, but back then.
No, that day I didn't have a phone.
And did Avante have a phone?
No.
So how would y'all get a hold of individuals, or how would you make contact with anybody?
I was using Vernon's phone.
Okay, and did Avante ever use his phone?
Yes.
And you recall Avante calling anyone?
His mother.
And do you know his mother's name?
Belinda.
Belinda? And what, do you know why, if you do know why, he was calling?
She was trying to get us a ride home.
A ride where?
Home.
Home. And did that ride ever come?
No.
And do you remember the defendant in this case ever having a conversation with your mother?
Excuse me?
Did the defendant, Vernon Dixon, have a conversation with your mom on the telephone?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall, without saying exactly what was said, do you recall what was just how he was acting?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
You can answer. Do you remember how he was acting?
He was just out of character.
Thank you, Kate. You didn't have to give that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. $10 super sticker. You see, that's why I don't get compliments, so then he can give me a sticker then. No, thank you very much. Didn't have to, but appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Through that day.
And what do you mean by out of character?
He was disappointed.
I'm sorry?
He was disappointed.
What was he disappointed about?
Because my mother.
And what about your mother?
I guess. Steve.
Okay. And so what happened after that?
His daughters attacked me.
Why did they attack you?
Because when his daughters was like, when my auntie pulled up, that she was gonna slap my mom and my auntie. So I got out the back seat and I was like, ain't nobody gonna slap my mom or my auntie. And that's when his daughters just ran up on me.
And was it just running up on you, speaking to you, or was it physical?
Physical.
And so, was it physical? Who was it physical between?
Me, Reminiscent, and Dominique.
Did anybody else physically hit you or them?
No.
Were y'all hitting each other?
Yes.
And then when you were in this altercation, was anybody trying to separate y'all?
I believe so.
And who was trying to separate y'all?
Monte and Vernon.
Avante and Vernon. And were they hitting you?
No.
Were they hitting the Reminisha or Immunique?
No, sir.
How were they trying to separate y'all? If you recall.
I don't recall.
Okay. And at some point, were y'all separated?
Yes.
And where did you go at that point?
Back in the car.
And was that the same car that has the stroller in
Yes,
it?
sir.
And is that the same place that stroller was located when you got in the car previously?
Yes, sir.
And where was your baby?
In my hand.
And so you had left, where did you leave the baby when you got out of the car?
He was in my hand the whole time.
Even when y'all were
Fighting.
fighting? Okay. And so your testimony stated that you just got back in the vehicle. What did Vernon Dixon do at that point?
He got in the car and I guess he just blacked out and he put the car in drive and got out and he just shot him.
Let's just rewind a little bit. I believe that you said you put the car in drive, then you got out of the car and shot him. Let's go back a little bit. You get in the vehicle after the physical altercation with Reminiscent and Immunique, right?
Yes.
And I just want to break it down a little bit for the jury to understand. Did the defendant in this case, did he enter the vehicle then?
Excuse me?
Did the defendant, Vernon Dixon, did he then also get in the vehicle?
Yes.
What seat did he get into?
Driving.
The driver's seat? And what about Avante? Did he ever get back in the vehicle?
Yes, he got in the passenger seat.
He got in the passenger seat. And do you recall what Avante was wearing that day?
A green jean jacket.
Okay.
Army.
Like an army?
Black and gray pants.
And do you recall what Vernon Dixon, Keno, was wearing that day?
Yes, all white.
All white? And what do you mean by all white? Like a white?
Like a white Adidas suit.
A white Adidas suit?
Yes.
It would be
warm-up suit.
Warm-up suit. And did it have all white or did it have any other colors on it?
I believe it had white and black.
And where was the black located?
On the side.
Okay. And I just for the record, you're pointing to your arm or the sleeve, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when y'all got in the vehicle, was the physical fight over at that point?
Yes.
Was Avante saying anything inside the car?
No.
Was the defendant in this case, Keno or Vernon Dixon, was he saying anything in the car?
I don't remember.
And what about you? Were you saying anything in the back seat?
I don't remember.
I guess at this time the physical altercation had ended. What was happening then? What did Vernon do at that point?
At that point, like after?
Right. And I'm trying to break it down here. Okay. Like, did he? I'll ask you this question: Did he leave the car in park or did he put it in drive?
He put it back in park.
Well, was it in drive?
No, it was already in park.
Okay. And then when he got in the car,
he put it in drive and then put it back in park.
Okay. Did the car move at all?
Yes.
And when he put it in park, how far did it move roughly, if you remember?
Not too far, just a little up and back.
And then after he put it in park, did he say anything?
Fuck this.
I'm sorry?
Fuck this.
And then what did he do at that point?
Shot him.
Shot him? Well, let me break it down again. And I know this is difficult for you, but you got to answer it so that the jury knows what happened that day. Did he stay in the car after he said fuck this, or did he exit the car?
He exited the car.
And when he exited the car, what did he do exactly then?
After he got out the car, he just shot him.
And where were you located at?
Backseat,
And who was in your arms?
my baby.
After he did that,
Yes,
did he shoot Avante Boyce?
yes,
And was Avante still in the vehicle?
yes.
After he shot Avante, what did Avante do?
He crawled on the floor.
He crawled on the floor?
Yes,
So did he get out of the vehicle?
yes.
Right after he shot Avante, what did the defendant do at that point? What did Vernon do at that point?
I believe he got in the car with his mother.
Okay. And I'm gonna break it down again. I understand you're nervous, but we need to let this jury know what happened that day. Did he come to the back seat and talk to you or do anything?
Yes, he came to the back seat and grabbed my son out by his leg, and that was it.
Did he have anything in his hand?
I believe so.
And you say you believe so. We need to know if yes or no. Did he have anything else in his hand?
Yes,
What did he have in his hand?
the gun.
And do you recall what the gun looked like?
Like a old Western gun.
An old Western gun?
Yes.
Okay. So is that, can you describe it to the jury? I mean, I guess that's the best description, an old Western
Yeah,
type gun. Okay.
I don't remember the color of it or nothing. I just know it was a.
And then what did you do after Mr. Dixon pulled your child out by his legs and you with your child? Is that right?
Yes.
What did you do?
I walked all the way around the car, all the way around the building to go look for Wante.
And I think your previous testimony, you stated that Vernon got in the car with his mother.
Yes,
And was Pearl there? Is that his mother?
yes,
And was she there when the shooting happened?
yes,
And was she the one that you're stating he got in the car with?
yes,
And I believe you just stated that you then walked around the whole building. Is that right?
yes.
And did you walk around the whole building this way or that way?
This way, going
Good.
towards Hayes.
Onto Hayes?
Yes.
And then where did you walk to?
Next building.
So this building here?
Yes,
And then why were you walking right there?
because Wante ran through there.
That's where Avante was?
Yes,
Did you make it to Avante?
yes.
Did you talk to Avante?
Tried to, but he was already,
Well, did he respond to you?
no,
Did he ever respond to you at any time after he was shot?
No.
At that point, at some point after that, did the police arrive?
yes,
And did you speak with the police?
yes,
And did you tell them what happened?
yes,
Did you tell them who shot Avante?
yes.
Who did you tell them shot Avante?
Oh, Kino.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
I want to show you state exhibit number 9. And are you familiar with this disc?
Yes,
And have you observed things that were on this disc?
yes,
And is it fair and accurate depictions of what happened that day?
yes,
Are you able to ID yourself in those on this disc?
yes.
And does it contain videos or pictures?
Videos, I believe.
And those videos where are they from?
The day when it happened,
And is it videos from a cell phone or is it videos from the apartment or cameras?
the apartment.
And you're able to ID yourself in that, these videos?
Yes,
Are you able to ID, Vernon Dixon in the photos, or I'm sorry, in the videos?
yes,
And you're able to ID any other individuals in these videos, is that correct?
yes,
And this is a fair and accurate, videos of the day that this shooting happened, is that correct?
yes.
Your Honor, at this time, we'll move to interstate exhibit number 9 and evidence.
Can we approach?
Yes.
Okay, so here we are. Terry, I think Terry's having a break because she's obviously not been 100%, and I think she's just taking a little bit of a break, and she might be looking at other trials with other people as well. She always likes to watch one trial at a time, so she might be watching another trial with somebody, So, Lord, someone offered me $600 for my spare gaming PC. I made with on sale pass for like $250 max. You could get more than that, Jonathan. More than that. I was watching a video the other day, and a lawyer said experts love to talk. That's why lawyers should only ask precise questions. Yes, that's true as well. But lawyers like to talk as well. That's why I don't really watch them. Shopping sales for computer part is profitable guess. Here we are. She needs a break from us. Don't blame her. No, I don't blame her either. Not for the super belt. Yeah, I have no idea what that means, Jonathan. Sounds good to me though. I love our little chat. Everyone's awesome. They are awesome. Everyone's different. And when I call you weirdos, you all are weirdos
I'm
in
going to give
different
you
ways.
all a break till 11:40. There are a couple of things that I need to take up outside your presence, but there are some witnesses I want to make sure that we get through. And usually I give everybody a lunch break. So if you ever need a lunch break, just let me know. But I'm hoping you all will be okay to pass a little bit past the lunch hour, noon, so that we can get some witnesses out of the way. And then you will most definitely have a break so that you can have something to eat. Is everyone okay with that? All right, you've heard some evidence in this case. You're not allowed to start deliberating in your own head individually or amongst each other. You're not allowed to watch anything about this case. If you hear somebody speaking about this case, ignore it. If somebody tries to speak to you about the case, ignore it. Everything that you need to know about this case is to come from inside this courtroom and nowhere else. Does everyone understand? Yes. All right, everyone, please rise for the jurors.
No, I got you, Nadia. No, I got you. You're true. Okay, I just wanted to be different. That's less
All right, everyone, please be seated.
I know. I thought that might be. I was like,
you wanted
well,
to take a witness on board here?
It's fine, if I may. And just for clarification, I think it's there, but the jury is not present during this process. Ms. Lewis, my name is Adam LaHood. I'm a defense attorney. I just have some very specific questions for you about the video that the state was trying to tender. Your Honor, for purposes here, do we want to publish this just so we're all making sure?
Sure. I mean, well, the record will reflect that it states exhibit number 9. And then afterwards we can publish.
Same here.
Once the jury's back in.
Well, I was saying just so she could see it, I guess, so we can.
Oh, would you like her to view it?
If we could, Judge.
All right. So I tell you what, if you will step down and they'll let you view the video and we'll go off the record briefly. And Dinah, if you want to take your break, you can take your break. And so if y'all let her view the video and then we'll come back.
Okay, come back then.
Yes.
She just wants you to bite it, Jonathan. You know what Nadia's like? She's in a robe now, waiting for you. GPS everywhere though, because it takes me like 50 times to remember direction. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we're gonna, if you don't mind, we're gonna do the same thing that you did with the proceedings.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, 2 seconds, please. Yeah.
And we can put on the record that we don't need to take on Verdire, that, okay, we're fine. So. Whenever we drink. I'm just staying up, so I'm tired of sitting. And Judge, we can put on the record now or in front of the jury, it's up to you. We're satisfied with the predicate being laid. It was.
So you're not requesting each one of the witnesses?
No, ma'am, that won't be necessary. It was, we're satisfied with the predicate and everything else on there, so no need to voir dire this witness.
All right, is there gonna be an objection to
It's number 9, is that correct?
Yes.
We have no objections, Judge. Also, I believe the state intends to play it directly from the computer. It's a direct, true copy. We're not objecting to it being played from the computer.
So they made that announcement in front of the jury that there are no objections.
Not a problem.
All right, we're ready. All right, for the jury.
Okay, Judge, put your mic back on, Judge Boyd, please. Right, just to let you know as well, I'm only playing this part today, about an hour left, and then probably gonna leave it for the day. I need to do some research tonight. I might do a video tonight as well, because my but we'll be watching it all tomorrow and Friday. So
Yes, Your Honor.
The objections.
Defense has no objections to State's Exhibit 9, Your Honor.
All right, states here the witness.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Evie, we're gonna go ahead and play one of the videos. Just for the jury, it's at 15:40:19 for the record, and for the jury, Evie, can you tell the jury what they're looking at right now?
Video.
Thank you. Let me talk about that video. On this video, what is depicted on the video? Is there a vehicle on the video?
Yes.
And whose vehicle is that?
Vernon's.
Vernon, and that's the defendant in this case?
Yes.
And is this the vehicle that y'all were picked up in that day?
Yes, sir.
And is that the vehicle that y'all drove around and went down to municipal court?
Yes, sir.
And then on the map, that previously stated map that was entered into evidence, you marked on that map where this vehicle is parked. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And in this video, is that where that 300 Chrysler red with the red and black rims, was that where it was parked?
Yes, sir.
And this awning or this area that looks like a shade for the picnic tables, was that the patio that you mentioned earlier in testimony?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then on your screen, Jackie Dixon so far.
Yeah, that's fine.
On your screen, can you point out Jackie Dixon's, where that her apartment would be?
Over here.
Okay, you pointed up to the left on that screen, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it looks like there's some individuals standing outside there, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And is that where Jackie Dixon's apartment door is?
Yes, sir.
Would that be the front door or the back door?
The back door.
And you spoke about earlier in testimony that the back door led to this parking lot.
Yes, sir.
And if you went across the parking lot, all the way across, if you mentioned the street earlier, what street would that be all the way across the parking lot?
Lamar.
Lamar?
Yes, sir.
And so in this particular video, do you know where you're at this point?
In the car.
And we're gonna start. Pause it at 15:42:46. Everybody just observed a vehicle, a dark colored vehicle pull up. Do you know whose vehicle that is?
Pearls.
And I'm sorry, whose?
Pearls.
And who is Pearl?
Vernon's mother.
Vernon's mother? Okay. Now, I want you to observe over here to there's somebody walking down the sidewalk. Let's pause at 15:43:01. Do you know who that individual is that's walking along the sidewalk towards you or towards the pavilion?
Juicy.
I'm sorry, who?
Juicy.
you say Juicy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you know Juicy's real name?
No, sir.
And how do you know Juicy?
From around there?
From where you live?
Yes.
And does he hang out with y'all or?
He was just hanging out with us that day.
Now, looking at the video, that back door of the Chrysler 300, who was at that back door?
Me, Pearl, and Avante.
And there was a photo entered into evidence earlier about a stroller in the back seat of that 300 Chrysler. Was that when y'all put that stroller there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At 15:44:01, it's been paused. Did you see an individual walk out of Jackie's Dixon's apartment?
Yes.
Who is that?
Vernon.
And that's the defendant in this case?
Yes.
And what does it look? What is he wearing?
A white jumpsuit.
We're just going to go to another video. And
And Your Honor, just for clarification, I believe State's Exhibit 9 is a composite of all the videos from the apartment. Is that going to be correct?
that is correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure for purposes of exhibit and for the record, just to be clear. Thank you, Judge.
Now, on this video that's paused at 15:45:07, can you identify, one, can you see the defendant in the case on the video?
Yes.
And can you point him out on your screen up here?
Your Honor, may I approach as well?
Yes. And you can use this highlighter if you don't mind. So, Judge, you mind if I stand up here?
No, that's okay.
I'm going to stand behind him, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's probably difficult for you to see, but if you can't see, just let me know.
And unfortunately, these devices used to have some marked things, but they're not working. It's government stuff here. So you're pointing to about the middle of that screen of an individual in that white warm up or jumpsuit that you mentioned. And is that the person that you mentioned earlier, Vernon Dixon?
Yes.
Okay. The person standing next to him, do you know who that is?
I'm unique.
I'm unique.
Oh, the button to the press,
Apologies, Your Honor.
oh, no, it happens. Just pull out.
There you go.
That was important.
Yes. All right. I believe that we're on that occurred. Was that unique? Is that the defendant's daughter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And they're off to the side behind, it looks like Pearl's car. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you identify anybody else on this video?
Pearl, Reminisha, Avante, and that's it.
Okay. And what, you did mention that you said Juicy had approached and was hanging out with y'all. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you see him in this photo or no, or this video?
Yes.
Okay. He's also in that?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead. Okay, that has been fast forwarded. 15:46:00. It's been paused again, and you can see on that video at 15:46:07, there's two individuals walking on the right side of this video with a small child. Are you able to identify those individuals?
Yes.
And the individual that's in front of these individuals, who is that?
2022, March 31st, 2022, I believe, Nanya.
Reminisha and I'm unique.
It's Reminisha and Aminique.
Yes.
And you mentioned a child there.
Juju.
That's Juju.
Yes.
And whose child is that?
Jackie's.
Jackie's. Okay, thank you. Actually, at this, can you still see Juicy in this video?
Yes.
Okay. And I fast forwarded to 15:46:40. The person all in white. Is that the same individual that you identified earlier?
Yes.
Is that Vernon Dixon?
Yes.
This individual that came around and approached you, or it looks like it's approaching the car rather, I apologize, approached the car, who was that?
Unique.
And again, the person in white, Vernon Dixon, is approaching the vehicle. Who's behind him?
Reminisha.
And what is Omnique doing at this time?
I believe she was coming to fight me.
In earlier testimony, what the jury is watching at this point, is this what the physical altercation that you mentioned earlier?
Yes, sir.
In the middle of that screen, behind Vernon Dixon, the person all in white, who's that person? It looks like from the video reaching out. Who is that?
His mother.
And that's Pearl.
Yes, sir.
So she was right there.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, Nuniere, stepdaughter of the defendant but girlfriend of the victim, yes. Correct. Welcome to Jonathan. Maxie, meet Jonathan.
Good. At 15:48:54, where did the defendant go in that video just previously?
To the driver's seat.
Driver's seat. And where are you at that point?
I believe that's me in the back seat.
Now, we paused it at 15:49:11. Looks like from the video that we all observed that somebody entered that front passenger seat of that red 300 Chrysler. Who was that?
Avante.
And that's the individual that you consider your husband.
Yes.
So Vernon Dixon's in the driver's seat, Avante Boyce is in the passenger seat.
Yes, sir.
And who's in the back seat?
Me and the baby.
And that's stroller.
Yes, sir.
The video's cut off, but we're going to go to the next video. Stop it. We're at 15:49:56. Some time has ran off here. But can you tell me what you observed in this video?
Avante on the floor.
And can you use that highlighter and point on your screen where you see where Avante is at?
Yeah, may I approach?
Yes. You need to.
Just a half of that.
So it looks like you're pointing roughly to the middle of the screen, right outside the doors on the passenger side of that 300 Chrysler. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead, start pointing it again. Stopped at 15:50:04. This individual that looks like they were crawling on the ground and then got up, and it's on the right hand of the screen near a bush. Who was that?
Avante.
And at that point, had the shots been fired?
Yes, sir.
And where are you at?
Still in the back seat.
Pause at 15:50:11. Who's in front of that 300 Chrysler?
Me.
And where's the baby?
In my head.
Where is Vernon Dixon?
In the back.
And can you point again on the screen with that yellow highlighter?
Right here.
Right there. All right, thank you. The individual, I'm sorry, we paused at 15:50:18. There's an individual that looks like in a black shirt. Did you see that individual?
No, sir.
Where is the defendant in the case? Where is he at this point?
by his mother's car,
And where's his mother?
getting in her car.
And it looks like you reached it, I mean, well, tell me if you did. Did you reach into that 300 Chrysler at that point?
Yes,
Why?
to get my baby back.
Did you testify earlier this is the way you walked around the buildings?
Excuse me?
Did you walk around the buildings at this point?
Yes, sir.
We are paused at 15:30:11 on this video. This, well, one, you've seen this video. Is it the same parking lot that you were, that was shown to the jury just previously in the other video?
Yes, sir.
It's just from a different angle, is that, or a different view, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And from just looking at the video, is it across the parking lot from that pavilion or that patio that y'all were by?
Yes, sir.
And in this video, do you see that red 300 Chrysler?
Yes, sir.
And if you don't mind, can you please just point out with that highlighter? Looks like you're pointing right next to that pavilion, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so this video, in a sense, mirrors the video, or just the opposite view of the same video that we saw previously to the jury, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Right now, the video is at about 15:42:00. And now, that vehicle that's pulling up right now, whose vehicle is that?
Rose.
The same vehicle that we saw in the other video?
Yes, sir.
We're at 15:46:50. And in this video, you can see, it's pretty far away, but did you see Vernon Dixon in that video?
Yes.
And he's an individual all in white?
Yes.
And again, this is just a different view of that altercation between you and Dominique and Remisha.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's paused at 15:48:13. To the right of this, in the parking lot approaching, it looks like some type of vehicle, or it looks like a golf cart, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
at 15:49:21. Did you see did the vehicle move slightly?
Yes,
Is that what you spoke about in earlier testimony?
yes, sir.
Pause at 15:49:41. Do you see Vernon Dixon in that video?
Yes, sir.
And is that the individual that stepped out of that vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Is that when he shot Avante Boyce?
Yes, sir.
And you see this individual that's going across the parking lot to the right and proceeds to walk out?
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
Juicy.
Did Juicy shoot Avante Boyce?
No.
And this individual walking across the parking lot, who is that?
Me.
And where's your baby?
In my hand.
And whose vehicle is pulling out of that parking lot right now?
Pearls.
And who's in that vehicle?
Vernon and Pearl.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Vernon and Pearl.
We're fast forwarding through this, or I have a question for you, Eva. This vehicle that's arriving right there. Who is that?
Pearl.
And that's her vehicle that we saw in the other videos?
Yes, sir.
And is that her arriving at that parking lot?
Yes, sir.
We're going to the next video. We're gonna start it at 15:50:48. Now we're pausing it at 15:51:01. We see a vehicle that's just stopped at the, I guess, the exit of this parking lot. Is that Pearl's vehicle?
Yes, sir.
And who's in that vehicle?
Vernon and Pearl.
And in fact, if you look at the open window to the right on the passenger side, do you see somebody's arm sticking out and pointing?
Yes, sir.
Whose arm is that pointing?
Vernon's.
Vernon, thank you. And then you see an individual walking. Who's that individual?
Me.
And that's, you have your child with you and a baby bag?
Yes, sir.
Now, I showed you that security video and you described each individual in there. And you stated to the jury already what you did after you walked out there. You went to Avante, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And going to show you what's been marked state exhibit number 10. It's a disc. Do you know what's on that disc?
Yes,
I'm sorry, you need to speak.
yes,
And have you listened to that disc?
yes.
And what was on that disc?
Vernon's voicemail,
I'm sorry, Vernon's,
voicemail,
and that voicemail was to who?
his mother.
And were you able to listen to that voicemail?
Yes,
And were you able to identify individuals' voices on there?
yes, sir.
Were you able to identify the male voice on there?
Yes, sir.
Whose voice was that?
Vernon's.
And was there any female voices that you were able to identify on there?
Yes,
And who is that?
Pearl.
Pearl, which is the mother of the defendant?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to show you the marked state exhibit number 11. Can you identify that photo for me?
Me.
That's you?
Yes, sir.
Was that the night or the day that this shooting happened?
Yes, sir.
And is that what you were wearing?
Yes, sir.
And also with your braids, with your hair?
Yes, sir.
And this is not at the scene though?
No.
Your Honor, we'll move, we'll move to state exhibit number 11. We'll tender to defense for any objections.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, state exhibit number 11 is admitted without objection.
Any published, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to show you what's been marked state exhibit number 12, 13. One, can you identify those photos?
Yes, sir.
And what are these photos of?
Pearl's car
And where's Pearl's car?
going into the parking lot.
And are these still photos from the video?
Yes, no, yes.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
got it. Where are these? These are photos of her car pulling into the parking lot. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, we'll move to enter into evidence state exhibit number 12 and 13. We'll tender to defense for any objections.
Your Honor, we would object that these are cumulative of video that's already been admitted to evidence.
All right, if I could see the exhibits, please.
May we approach?
Yes. Action is sustained.
May I publish state exhibit number 12 to the jury?
Yes.
He was sustained, so it's fine. You colorblind, John.
State exhibit number 12 is entered into evidence at this point, but this is a still photo of the video that we saw previously.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll show you what's been marked state exhibit number 14 and 15. Do you recognize those?
Yes.
And what are they depicting in each of these videos? I mean, I'm sorry, photos.
After the incident.
And you mean after the shooting, is that right?
Yes.
And in this photo, can you depict where Avante is?
On the floor.
And you can see where the 300 Chrysler is at?
Yes.
And you can also depict where Pearl vehicle is.
Yes, sir.
And then state exhibit number 15. Is that a photo of the same scene?
Yes.
But it does have some different things in that photo, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you see yourself in that photo?
Yes, sir.
And can you also see Vernon Dixon in that photo?
Yes, sir.
And can you also see Pearl in that video?
Yes, sir.
And at this point, do you know where Avante voice is?
He took off already.
Your Honor, state moves to enter in state exhibit numbers 14 and 15. Will tender to defense for any objections. Sir.
Yeah, we won't object as to these.
All right, States Exhibit 14 and 15 are admitted without objection.
Just, they are published to the jury, Your Honor.
Yes.
State Exhibit number 14 does have the timestamp on there, stating when it's at. And that's the one that you testified just now that you can see Avante next to that 300 Chrysler.
Yes, sir.
And then State Exhibit number 15 also has the timestamp on there, but also shows you that you just testified that you're in front of that 300 Chrysler.
Yes, sir.
And it also depicts Pearl and also the defendant, Vernon Dixon, in that photo.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna show you what's been marked State Exhibit number 16. Do you recognize that picture?
Yes.
And do you know who that individual is in that photo?
Yes.
Who is that individual?
Juicy.
And that's the way he looked that day, of the shooting?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, we'll move to enter into State Exhibit number 16.
No objections as to state 16, Judge.
All right, States Exhibit 16 is admitted without objection.
Published to the jury, Your Honor.
Yes.
State Exhibit number 16 is now on display. This individual depicted here wearing that striped shirt, walking, is that the individual you know as Juicy?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna show you State Exhibit number 17. You recognize that?
Yes, sir.
And is that the, what does that show?
Pearl leaving.
And is that a still photo of that video?
No.
State offer State Exhibit number 17 into evidence.
Your Honor, we would renew our objection as to cumulative or repetitive as to 17.
All right, if attorneys can approach.
Not long to go.
All right, States Exhibit number 17 is admitted.
Thank you, Judge.
Half an hour to go.
Yes.
State Exhibit number 17. Again, this is a still photo of the video. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it shows Vernon Dixon pointing out of that window.
Yes, sir.
And did you speak with officers at the scene?
Yes, sir.
And then that photo of you, where they take a picture of you, did you go somewhere to talk to detectives that night?
Yes, sir.
And you talked to them about what happened that day
Yes, sir.
and about the shooting?
Yes, sir.
I want to show you State Exhibit number 18. You know who that individual is?
Yes, sir.
And who is that individual?
Avante.
I'm sorry,
Avante.
Avante Boyce?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, at this time we'll pass the witness.
Permission. Just one moment, Judge.
Yeah, I'm done for the day, Dunya. What I'm going to do a video, which I'll premiere later on. I'm just tired again today. I don't know what's wrong with me. So,
Ms. Lewis, my
Yes,
name's
sir.
Adam LaHood. I'm a defense attorney.
so plan is tomorrow to cover it all day again, but also have Tim Ferreter, the sentencing in, and then Friday we'll just finish it off on Friday then, because it's probably about 11 hours to go on this, 11, 12 hours. So try to spread it out across the week. But I'm going to do a video tonight, I think, on the royal family. It'll be like a 10, 15 minute, 20 minute maybe video. I've not done it yet, but I'll post that later on tonight, just about the royal family, just a little something. But that's about it, yeah.
I have some questions to ask you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Ever go too fast or say something that doesn't make sense or it's kind of confusing, just stop and let me know and I'll try to.
I don't know, I sleep okay, but I don't know what it is. I'm just constantly getting worse and worse. I need to go to doctors, I think. Just to check it out. Fucking hell.
Reword it, rephrase it for you.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I guess just a little bit of background info. How old are you right now, ma'am?
22.
So were you 21 or 20 back in March of 2022?
Yes, sir.
20 or 21?
21.
And you said that you had a newborn child at that time as well?
Yes, sir.
How old was your child at that time?
He was 9 months.
9 months old?
Yes.
Just trying to clarify the relationship. Avante was your husband or boyfriend?
Yes, sir.
Which one, ma'am?
My boyfriend.
So you weren't formally married, but you were in a serious relationship?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Vernon Dixon, his relation to you is what?
My father, my stepfather.
How long have you known Vernon?
Since I was 8.
Is it fair to say he raised you?
Yes, sir.
You testified I believe that well, let me ask you this. Vernon and Avante went to municipal court to handle some traffic citations.
Yes, sir.
Were you in the car with them when they went?
Yes, sir.
And was the court closed when you got there?
Yes, sir.
After you found out the court was closed, where did you go?
To Vernon's sister's house.
And what is Vernon's sister's name?
Jackie.
Jackie?
Yes, sir.
Do you know her last name?
Dixon.
Jackie Dixon. Thank you. We said house, but it's an apartment complex.
Yes, sir.
Have you been there before?
Yes, sir.
How many times approximately? Or let me rephrase it for you. Is that somewhere that you had visited and gone to frequently?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you return from municipal court, and we'll come back to the photos here in a second. Did Vernon, were you in the car when the car was parked out by the pavilion?
Yes.
You indicated or you testified that there was some kind of fight or altercation. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Just so we're all clear, and I know we've had a lot of names. Who was involved in this fight?
Me, Reminisce, and I'm unique.
So the three of y'all were fighting.
Yes.
Do you know what was the fight over?
Because I told I'm unique that she wasn't gonna slap my mom.
So you told Amanique not to slap your mom, and then that led to this fight.
Yes, sir.
How long were you fighting approximately?
I don't remember.
Somebody broke up this fight.
Yes.
Who broke it up?
Vernon and Avante.
At this time, was Vernon in the car, outside the car? Where was he at?
During the fight,
Yes, ma'am.
outside the car.
And I guess I'll ask this. Well, what I'm trying to get to, or I don't think I asked it very clearly. You parked the car and then the fight started. If you know, how long after you parked the car did this fight break out?
I don't remember.
Was it a few minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
I'll say about 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes?
Yes.
So not instantaneously.
Mhm.
All right. And you said Vernon was outside the car. Do you know where he was? If you know, where was he when this fight started?
Trying to break it up. He was everywhere.
He was everywhere.
Yeah.
Was he in an apartment or outside? Excuse me. Was he in an apartment or was he outside of an apartment when the fight started?
Outside.
Okay. Talking with anyone or?
I don't know.
All right. And I think you said you don't know exactly how long you and the three of you were fighting. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you injured in this fight?
No, sir.
Were they injured?
No, sir.
After everyone was broken up, where did you go after this fight gets broken up by Vontae and Vernon?
In the backseat of Vernon's car.
And I think you told Mr. Garaham, he says fine, during this fight, you're holding your child during this time?
Yes.
Okay. You'd indicated that you went to the apartment and that y'all were smoking earlier too. Is that correct?
Yes.
Marijuana?
Yes.
Where were y'all smoking marijuana at?
Outside on the patio.
On a patio?
Yes.
Was this after you had returned from, they had returned from the municipal court or before that?
After.
It was after? Who all was smoking on this patio?
Everybody.
Everybody. All right. Were y'all smoking at the red pavilion that we saw in the photo by the Chrysler?
Yes.
So that was where y'all were smoking at?
Yes.
You indicated you saw on a picture, I believe the state presented a photo of somebody named Juicy.
Yes.
If we just clarify for ourselves and the jury, how do you know Juicy?
Just around there. I grew up on the east side, so I've been knowing him since I was young.
So he's from the east side. You live on the east side as well?
I was raised over there.
Okay. And just for purposes of this, the apartment complex in question, is this on the east side of San Antonio?
Yes.
If you know, approximately how many years have you known Juicy?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you have any approximately, if you know, how old is he?
No.
You don't know? And I believe you already answered, but do you know Juicy's real name?
No, sir.
All right, you just kind of known him from the neighborhood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You indicated that day that you did not have a cell phone. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And Vontae didn't have a cell phone either?
Yes, sir.
How were y'all? I mean, everyone has a cell phone nowadays. Was that a temporary thing or just kind of between carriers at the time or?
No, we didn't have a phone around that time.
Okay. You said though that Avante, you think may have used Vernon's phone to call somebody,
Yes, sir.
and who was that?
His mother,
And what was her name?
Belinda.
Was this after the fight had occurred?
No, before.
Before, okay, and that's, all right, and thank you for clarifying that. Why did he call Belinda?
She was trying to get us home.
Home from the apartment complex?
Yeah, she was trying to get us home.
Get y'all home?
Yes,
Okay, so was this after you went to the municipal court, but before the fight broke out? At that point, a call was made to Belinda?
yes,
Okay, and did Belinda answer?
yes.
All right. Um, going back to Raymonisha and Dominique, you testified that they're both stepdaughters to Vernon.
I believe one of them is his stepdaughter.
Okay, my apologies, ma'am. I say that now. All right, thank you. And you said that the fight broke out because you told that you didn't want Raymonisha hitting your mom.
Yes.
Was there a prior incident when that this happened?
Please say that again.
Yes, ma'am. I'll rephrase for you. You said that you didn't want her hitting your mom. Was there a prior assault or hitting incident where Raymonisha hit your mom?
No,
No. So what prompted you to say you didn't want her hitting your mom?
because Vernon was on the phone calling my mother. And Monique took the phone from her father and said that once my mom didn't pull up, that she was gonna hit her.
Okay, so she had threatened to hit mom, but there was an actual fight.
Yes.
So if you know, what led to the anger and fighting that day? What if you know?
I don't know.
You don't know? All right. But you exchanged words and then there was a scuffle or a fight outside?
Yes.
You said that Vernon was disappointed that day?
Believe so.
What did you mean by that?
He was disappointed because my mom wouldn't come home, I guess.
So was he angry or disappointed? If you know, why was that a source of contention?
I don't know.
Okay. You indicated that when the fight happened, you had your child in your arms?
Yes.
And what was your child's name?
Avante.
Avante Jr.?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After the fight had cooled off, I believe you indicated that you sat in the red Chrysler. Is that correct?
Yes.
And where were you exactly in the Chrysler?
In the back seat.
Do you remember if you were passenger side or driver's side?
The driver's side.
Driver's side?
Yes.
And there was a car seat in the back as well?
Yes, a stroller.
Yeah. Just 1 second, Judge. Thank you. Who else was in the car with you at that time?
Just us.
Who was us?
Me, Avante, and my son.
You, Avante, and your son?
Yes.
Okay. Were y'all talking at that time?
Before or after?
Well, let me rephrase. So when you got into the car, Avante gets into the car first, is that correct?
Yeah, after the fight?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Are things calming down at this point or are they escalating?
I don't really remember.
That's okay. And like I said, if you don't know, it's fine. I don't want you to guess. I'm not trying to stump you or trick you or anything, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you and Avante are in the car. How long are you in the car approximately before Vernon arrives to get into the vehicle?
I don't remember.
All right. But Vernon does eventually come into the car?
Yes.
And where does Vernon and where in the car is Vernon sitting?
Driver.
Okay. You said is a car before Vernon gets in, is the car running or is it just sitting there?
I believe it's running.
It was running before Vernon got in?
Yes. No, it wasn't running.
Okay. After Vernon got in, did the car start?
Yes.
Or he started the car?
Yes.
And he said that the car drove forward. Explain what happened there exactly.
After the car went forward,
Yes, ma'am.
after it went forward, he just said, "Fuck this," and shot at one time.
All right. So said Vernon says, "Fuck this." Car goes forward a few feet. Does he stop, put the car in park?
Yes.
All right. At that point, does Vernon exit the vehicle?
Yes.
All right. And again, you indicated, are you still in the back driver's side?
Yes, sir.
All right. When Vernon got out, did you see a weapon in his hand
Yes, sir.
when he exited?
Yes, sir.
Where was the weapon at?
in his hand.
Before he got out, was he holding it the whole time when he got in the vehicle? Is it drawn out?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Mm.
All right. And what kind of weapon, generally speaking, what kind of weapon was this? Was it a pistol?
I don't really know my guns, but I know it was an old Western gun.
If you can, I know you say you're not big on firearms. Explain what you mean by old Western style weapon or gun.
It's like the ones that you just slide and
Like a 6-shooter?
I don't know what that called.
That's okay, man. Did you hear a gunshot?
Yes,
After you heard the gunshot, what happened, ma'am?
I blacked out.
Did you pass out?
No, I was just lost.
And I think I understand, but we got to be very clear for the jury. You said everything was lost or you felt lost. Just expand on that. What do you mean by that?
I really didn't know what to do.
Okay. Do you remember exiting the vehicle?
Yes,
Your child, was he in your arms when he exited?
yes,
He was?
yes.
You had said something about somebody. Well, we'll come back to that. Your child's in your car, or I'm sorry, in your hands when you exit. Who did you speak to after you exited the vehicle?
Nobody.
Nobody.
The police.
Right after you exit the vehicle, you said that you're on the driver's side in the back seat. Is that correct?
Yes.
Where did you go?
I walked all the way around the building to look for Avante.
You said walked on look for Avante?
Yes,
All right. And did you locate him?
yes.
All right. What happened after that?
I was just screaming and yelling for help. Everybody left and
Did you call 911?
I couldn't, I didn't have no phone.
Yes. ma'am. Do you know who called 911?
No, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
and you to the scene
Yes, sir.
and you talked to the police later?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I wonder if we could reload the video, get some questions. No. Just 1 minute, ma'am.
And for the record, what exhibit number is this?
This is number 9, Your Honor. There's, I believe, multiple videos admitted under exhibit 9. They're all on the same CD.
Oh.
Is that correct?
Yes. And just for the record, Your Honor, City 9, we have it on the main pavilion video, and we are having it at 15 48:05. Yes.
Yeah, may I approach?
Yes.
So, ma'am, I'm going to have you try to point out, you have a mark there in front of you. Let's identify first. Do you see somebody standing underneath the red pavilion by what looks like a picnic table?
Yes, sir.
Who is that, ma'am?
Juicy.
That's Juicy. And he indicated that you did not know, you didn't know Juicy's name. You don't know Juicy's name right now?
No, sir.
Do you see a red card in that still frame?
Yes, sir.
There's trying to see how we can do this. At the back of the car, it looks like somebody in a dark shirt. Do you see them?
Yes, sir.
Who is that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
You talking about him?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
Okay, that's fine. Can we advance the video just a few seconds?
Just tell us when to pause.
Go ahead and pause. No.
All right, and it's paused at
15:48:09, Your Honor.
At this time, do you see Raymonisha and Amanique in this still?
Yes.
Would you point them out for us, please?
Right here.
Okay, and you're pointing to a lady, it looks like it's to the right of a pillar that's kind of standing in front there?
Yes, sir.
And who is that?
Raymonisha.
Raymonisha, okay. And Amanique, do you see her?
No, can't
No.
really see her.
All right. How do you know that's Raymonisha?
Cause she had on all black.
All black that day?
Mhm.
Okay. May we go forward just a little bit? And we can pause.
Pause at 15:48:14.
Actually, can we go forward just one more second? I'm sorry, we caught it at a bad angle. There we go. All right. Do you see someone, it looks like they're in a green outfit that's underneath the pavilion? Do you see them?
Yes.
Who is that?
Pearl.
That's Pearl?
Yes.
Okay. What was Pearl doing at that, before then? Was she talking to anyone?
I don't even remember.
Okay. And at the back of the vehicle, you see somebody, I believe he says wearing all black, but you're not sure who that is?
I believe that's Ray Ray.
You think that's Ray Ray?
Yes.
Is that the same person we saw earlier that was wearing all black?
No, that was Reminiscent we saw earlier.
Oh, my apologies. Who is Ray Ray?
I'm Unique's husband.
Dominique's husband?
Mhm.
And how long have you known him?
I just known him since, I met Vernon.
It's for a long time?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see somebody sitting, I believe we're talking the same person, standing next to Ray Ray? On that still photo?
Yes.
Who is that?
Yes. Vernon.
Okay, can we go forward? And pause again, I'm sorry. We see somebody that's coming down a walkway right here, in a white shirt to the right. Do you see him?
Yes.
Do you know who that is?
No,
If you know, was it somebody that was with this group that day or someone else?
I don't know. I don't even remember seeing him.
All right, then we go forward. Pause. And the person in the white, you're saying that is Vernon?
Yes.
All right. We can continue forward. What's going on right now that we're looking at?
The altercation. The
Is this
fight.
when you were fighting with Raymanisha and Dominique?
Yes.
Okay. And is Vernon trying to break up this fight?
Yes.
All right, may we pause? We see Vernon at the front of the car now?
Yes.
All right. And if you know, where is he headed?
To the driving seat.
May we continue? If you know, is Vernon in the car yet, or is he still staying outside?
Still standing outside.
And do you know if they're talking or discussing anything?
No, I believe.
Where is Vernon at right now?
On the other side of the car.
You said inside the car?
The other side.
The other side. Can you point him out for us?
I can't see him.
You can't see him there?
Mm-mm.
That's okay. But all right, maybe we continue forward. Sorry, just 1 second, man. Yeah, let's go to the next one.
Stopping one video, going to the next. Connor. And starting at 15:49:56. I'm sorry, 15:49:53.
And I think you said the gentleman that we see in the white shirt, and I can't tell what color pants they are, to the right-hand side, you don't know who this person was?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We see what looks like 3 people under the pavilion. So I know we just had to kind of change camera angles. Can you tell us who those 3 people are, just so we're all have our bearings and identity of everyone?
Pearl, Ray Ray, I'm Unique, and Reminiscent.
Okay. Maybe we can continue. And is Vernon in the driver's seat?
No, he's
With
coming
pause?
around the car.
We pause. We saw a person coming around the back. Who was that?
Vernon.
That was Vernon. And he's approaching the passenger side.
Yes.
All right, we continue. And this is Vernon walking over to Pearl's car.
Yes.
Was there a shooting at this time?
Yes.
Defense. Defense.
You see the shooting that occurred? Do you see it on camera there?
No.
No. And how many people were by the side of the vehicle when the shooting took place?
I believe about 4 or 5 of us.
Did you physically, with your own eyes, see Vernon shoot Avante?
Yes.
And you saw this from the perspective from the back seat?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna sit back down. You said that you blacked out though. Everything kind of went into a blur. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. This one's looking good. Going back a little bit to what you said, that y'all were out there smoking marijuana. Was the defendant smoking marijuana with you all?
Yes.
He was. How long were y'all smoking for?
I don't know.
You don't know? All right. Just 1 minute, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Thank you, ma'am. Your Honor, we'll pass witness at this time.
State,
Other question, John?
all right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
May we keep her for recall, Judge?
All right. The rule has been invoked. What that means is you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for the state. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. All right, I'm gonna have you remain seated here just for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take our lunch break right now. So I'm gonna have y'all come back at 2.
2-2. So let's get serious. Let's get serious for a change, shall we? Right. So the plan is I'm having a new bathroom done tomorrow. So I've got some prep I need to do for the new bathroom. Tiling the floor and everything, bloody hell. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is make some videos tonight. Probably pump a few out. Not sure about what yet. I've not planned anything. Whatever. Do you know what I mean? So there is. Let's have a look. Tomorrow we have. Let me look at it. We're with 3 today. Just gotta go to the right ones. Yeah, so it's about 2, 3, 4, 5.5. 6 and 8, 11. There's about 12 hours left, right? But some of that is docket as well. So it's not going to be like 12 hours total. So I'm thinking of playing 2 episodes tomorrow, which is going to be about 6 hours. But in between, doing Tim Ferritter in between. Then Friday, then we'll just do the closing arguments. Possibly, I think it's only then. Yeah, maybe just closing arguments and verdict, or there might be another episode. I'm not sure. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But this is important. Please make sure you keep my notifications on. Press them for all. As I say, we'll be pumping out videos tonight. I try and premiere some of them, but I'm not sure if that works or not. So I'll probably just leave them. They'll just publish when they publish. So keep an eye on them. Please take a watch of them when they do come out. Some are going to be Royal Family, I think, and some are going to be, I'm not sure, to be honest. But I'll keep them short and sweet. I want to make some tonight and upload them, but also some for the rest of the week and upload them. Just do a lot more of those kind of videos. Then tomorrow's a big day. Tim Ferritter sentencing. That's 1:30 Eastern. So I'll probably get back online about 10 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, or 9:45 Eastern, because that'll be 12. That'll probably take us to the Tim Ferritter stuff. So then there'll be a separate video for Tim Ferritter, and then we'll come back and finish off this trial for the day. And then Friday we'll have a little bit of a closing or what have you then. And Saturday we got Matt Moore of that as well. And Sunday I'll probably pump out some more videos. So yeah, I think that's the best thing to do. And if I did have the bathroom going tomorrow, I probably would have not bothered, carried on. But I got a couple of things, I need cleaning out. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, here we are. Thanks for being here today, everyone. Stay safe out there. We'll see you all tomorrow. And look at all the videos as well. So, with that, Sarah, please tell me to shut the F up and to go. So, with that, thank you very much, as always, everybody, for being here. I'll keep an eye out for my videos later on. As I say, they'll probably be about 5, 10, 15, 20-minute videos. So, slot them in and see you all tomorrow. So, free Zachary Anderson. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.